flying objects. The issue came up when former President Obama said in a podcast that aliens are real, but he hasn't seen them.
That's Fox's Jill Nato. There's been another deadly avalanche. An 11-year-old girl buried, then died in Utah while skiing off trail. Days after 8 skiers were killed in the avalanche near Lake Tahoe, a 9th is still missing, presumed dead. America's listening to Fox News.
Fox News Books has boasted a host of bestsellers. Now, Fox News Books enters the world of podcasting. This season, the Fox News Books podcast presents The Miracles Among Us. For its first season, Fox News Books will present this special podcast brought to you by the author, Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel. The Miracles Among Us on the Fox News Books podcast. Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Hello, everyone. This is Ainsley Earhart. Thank you for joining me for the 52-episode podcast series, The Life of Jesus.
Neil McDonough portrays Jesus. Stacy Keach, Sean Astin, Michael York, and Kristen Bell provide the voices for some of Jesus' notable followers. A listening experience that will provide hope, comfort, and understanding of the greatest story ever told, The Life of Jesus.
Make sure to spread the word.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We mentioned President Trump giving Iran 10 to 15 days to make a nuclear deal or bad things will happen. Well, the U.S. joined Israel attacking Iran's facilities last year, and there's a bigger military presence there now.
The U.S. is engaged in the largest military buildup since the eve of the Iraq War. The Pentagon has deployed more than 120 warplanes to the Middle East, including 50 in the past 48 hours. The total number of E-3 Sentry AWACS deployed to the region, 6. Sending the AWACS marks a significant change in strategic posture. It's an all-weather airborne warning and control system with an integrated command and control battle management to provide an accurate, real-time picture of the battle space to the Joint Air Operations Center. The USS Ford aircraft carrier strike group is near the Strait of Gibraltar, but still a few days from the eastern Mediterranean, where it could be used to protect Israel. In Washington, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
We'll get updates to the economy this morning. An inflation gauge closely tracked by the Federal Reserve, what are called personal consumption expenditures, and a report on economic growth for the last 3 months of last year. On Wall Street, ahead of that, stock futures are rising the day after selling dragged the Dow down more than 200 points. At the Winter Olympics, the U.S. is now in second in the medal count with 27, 7 back of the leader Norway, after 2 American golds on ice.
Alyssa Liu won the United States its first women's figure skating Olympic gold medal in 24 years. The 20-year-old from the San Francisco Bay Area is the first American woman to stand atop the figure skating podium since Sarah Hughes did so in 2002.
That's Fox's Joe Morgan. The U.S. women's hockey team also won the gold medal, beating Canada 2-1 in overtime. Today, the semifinals in men's hockey. Team USA will play Slovakia. Canada takes on Finland. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
When you can no longer handle your own home, Hearthstone Assisted Living at the Lutheran Home in Arlington Heights is here to help make life easier. Experience upscale living with comprehensive health services. We offer fine dining, engaging activities, available chaplains, weekly worship services, and quality amenities including a bistro, expansive library, and general store. For a limited time, mention WYLL for an additional discount. Call 847-595-5024 or visit LutheranLifeCommunities.org.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. Next week, President Donald Trump will deliver his State of the Union address. The rest of the legislative agenda will be set for the year, and of course, we'll be off to the midterm elections in November. A great many Democrats plan to boycott the State of the Union. One, Democratic Senator Chris Murphy told the New York Times, quote, "These aren't normal times, and we have to stop doing normal things," close quote. In that sentence, Senator Murphy spoke volumes. What's abnormal to the Democrats is the rule of law being enforced, conservative economic policy, the liberation of leadership from Marxist narco-terrorist leaders, and potentially with Iran, removing Islamic radicals and revolutionaries. As we head into the midterm elections, let's remember what the Democrats think is normal. It's the opposite of all that. Living with and ignoring an illegal invasion of America, coddling Marxist drug-dealing thuggery, and appeasing the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world, all the while jacking up our taxes even higher. These are the stakes this year. Don't take them passively.
Hello, can I have your attention, please? My name is Hugh McKenzie, and I'm a devout listener of The Answer. They have partnered with Food for the Poor consistently for the last few years. In the past, I've always wanted to participate, but unfortunately never had the extra cash at the end of the year to do so. But last weekend, I received the mail, and there was a bonus check for $2,500 from Mack Truck for selling commercial vehicles. I decided that I was all in. As I mentioned, I sell commercial vehicles. Everything from Mack, Volvo, Hino, Isuzu, new and used. I've been selling for over 30 years in the Chicagoland market. Call me at 630-918-9534 or check me out on the web. Google my name, Hugh McKenty, and Hugh is spelled H-U-G-H, McKenty is spelled M-C-K-E-N-T-Y. All right, thank you very much for your time.
To contact Hugh McKenty, search Hugh McKenty on LinkedIn or call 630-918-9534. That's 630-918-9534.
She's unafraid and unapologetic. She's Laura Trump, and she's shaking things up on the Right View podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
We're now in a midterm election year, and the Democrats, I think, are panicking. They have very little to run on. The faces of their party now are socialists. Democrats, I think, are probably looking at Tim Walz and they're like, we don't need the distraction of another failed Democrat.
Subscribe to the Right View podcast with Laura Trump on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt doesn't see a friendly Iran.
The USS Abraham Lincoln had an F-35 from the carrier shoot down a Shahed drone from Iran that got too close to the Lincoln. Also today, a half dozen Iranian gunboats approached a U.S.-flagged oil tanker and tried to take it under their control. This is not the action of a regime that wants to negotiate.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's February 20th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Love Your Pet Day. Whether you're on Team Woof or Meow, they're all family members who give you unconditional love. In the 1960s, European royalty began keeping toy dog breeds. Pet birds were the pet of choice in Spain among all classes well into the 1960s. On this day in 2016, Donald Trump wins the South Carolina Republican primary with 32.5% of the vote, and on the same day, Jeb Bush suspends his presidential campaign. While the Nevada Democratic primary goes to Hillary Clinton with 52.6% of the vote. Born on this day in Miami in 1927, but grew up in the Bahamas, the legendary Sidney Poitier, the first black man to win the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1964 for his role in Lilies of the Field for playing a handyman helping a group of German-speaking nuns build a chapel. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The following is a paid political announcement.
There's one thing I really want to say to Donald Trump. If you come for my people, you come through me.
That was Pritzker's challenge to President Trump. But who are Pritzker's people? They're the more than 1,700 illegal alien predators he helped escape from ICE. They're the illegal aliens whose health care, rent, and college tuition you pay for. You can't afford to stay because Pritzker makes you pay for his people. Well, I have a message for you, Governor. I'll be coming for you and going through you. Your days and the days of sanctuary living for your people are over. I'm Ted Dabrowski, your conservative candidate for governor, and I'm asking for your vote in the Republican primary on March 17th. Paid for by Ted for Illinois.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
Salem Surround. Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate, it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com, and schedule your free in-home consultation today.
Does your company exhibit at trade shows? Are your show costs rising? Not getting the return you expected? At Old Salt Displays, we turn those challenges into opportunities. As a veteran-owned company in the Midwest, we know what it takes to stand out. Whether you need a pop-up banner or a complete custom environment, we've got the expertise to make your brand shine. We use American-made, modular, reusable displays to keep costs low and ensure faster fulfillment and on-time delivery. Big impact, small footprint. That's the Old Salt way. We do it all: design, creation, shipping, storage, and show services. From concept to convention floor, we handle everything so you can focus on what you do best, connecting with customers. Make your next show a success by calling Old Salt Displays at 920-226-8958. Again, that's 920-226-8958, or visit oldsaltdisplays.com. Your booth, your brand, done right.
Are you confident your IT systems are rock solid? There could be cracks you don't see. Don't leave your technology to chance. Take the Access One $10,000 challenge to find out. For more than 30 years, Access One has helped businesses strengthen their security, protect their data, and improve resistance to cyber vulnerabilities, all with reliable US-based support. And here's our promise: if our experts can't identify at least one measurable improvement to your IT systems and processes based on NIST or CIS regulations, we'll reward your compliance excellence with $10,000. This free, confidential risk assessment is available to businesses with 25 to 500 employees, and it's a great way to verify your IT is secure and efficient. No gimmicks, just proven results from an experienced IT partner. Ready to put us to the test? Visit accessoneinc.com/challenge or call 800-654-1555 to schedule your assessment today. Certain conditions apply. See details online.
If you owe the IRS or state $10,000 or more, the stress can feel crushing. You may even worry about getting misled by big national tax companies that care more about quotas than people. That's exactly why ClearPath Tax Strategies exists. We're local, not some 800 number 3 states away. We're an independent team of experienced CPAs and attorneys who share your conservative values and believe that every tax problem has a real solution, one that works for you. We will fight to get you the lowest possible settlement. But nothing changes until you take the first step. Schedule your free consultation today and finally understand your options. Call 262-786-4442. That's 262-786-4442, or visit cptstrategies.com. ClearPath Tax Strategies. No judgment, just results. Take back your future and get the IRS and state off your back.
Does your company exhibit at trade shows? Are your show costs rising? Not getting the return you expected? At Old Salt Displays, we turn those challenges into opportunities. As a veteran-owned company in the Midwest, we know what it takes to stand out. Whether you need a pop-up banner or a complete custom environment, we've got the expertise to make your brand shine. We use American-made, modular, reusable displays to keep costs low and ensure faster fulfillment and on-time delivery. Big impact, small footprint. That's the Old Salt way. We do it all: design, creation, shipping, storage, and show services. From concept to convention floor, we handle everything so you can focus on what you do best: connecting with customers. Make your next show a success by calling Old Salt Displays at 920-226-8958. Again, that's 920-226-8958, or visit oldsaltdisplays.com. Your booth, your brand, done right.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com, and schedule your free in-home consultation today.
I'm Ben Barzita.
And I'm Matt Nadeau, founding partners of Barzita and Nadeau Wealth Management. And after more than a decade on the air, we're excited to be back with our brand new show, Money Hour Radio.
Tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on AM 560 as we break down retirement planning, market trends, tax reduction strategies, and our Advance and Protect investment approach.
It's sophisticated planning, independent analysis, and trusted guidance backed by over 40 years of combined experience.
Join us for Money Hour Radio, Saturdays at 1 p.m. on AM 560.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, hoping you'll join me on the unforgettable Gulf of America cruise happening in November of 2026. Imagine this: turquoise waters, white sand beaches, incredible food, insightful conversations about the future of America. Scott Jennings and I will be your hosts. We'll dive into the issues shaping America as we cruise through some of the most stunning destinations while honoring the 250th anniversary of our nation. Book your cabin today. Text the word cruise to 94878. Text cruise to 94878 or visit mikeonline.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect low clouds and strong winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain this morning, leading to little to no accumulation. Later in the day, there will be a flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. Tomorrow, anticipate some sunshine with a high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Chicago. John Anthony back again. Dan Proft is off. I am the host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. You know, you guys ready for the Indiana Bears or the Gary Dogs? I know I'm not. What the heck? Me and Quinn were talking this morning, and it's like, this is some good radio fodder. And if you were listening to the sports stations throughout yesterday, I mean, they were all up in arms. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. But before we go there, I don't think I've ever heard or seen anybody tank their campaign in a way that this Juliana Stratton, who's the lieutenant governor, has done. I don't know if you guys heard her new ad. And we're going to trust me, I'm going to go straight into the Bears and what is happening and what does it really mean. I really don't think the Bears are going to Indiana. But I was telling Quinn, who would have ever thought that Indiana would have two teams before Chicago would have two teams? It's just asinine. I think this is another strong arm play by the Chicago Bears. But it would be something should the Chicago Bears do go to. Not listen. I know there's a lot of other teams that have left the city in which, like the Dallas Cowboys, are not in Dallas. The San Francisco 49ers are not in San Francisco. But they're going to leave to go to a whole nother state. That's just insane, man. in my opinion. That's just insane. But I had to play. I had to play this first because I really do believe that this is a way to ruin your campaign. Now, I hope Justin beat out the worst because there's a lot of them too, right, Justin? Campaign 101. Don't do ads like this.
Trump. Vote Juliana.
Trump. Vote Juliana.
Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm proud to have lived my whole life on the south side of Chicago. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed, just like they said.
Trump.
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 Vote Juliana.
Now watch this
here. I
here.
approve this message.
Oh, wait. They said it, not me. You do realize you have to approve that message in your name, correct, Lieutenant Governor? So what they're saying is, F, ends with a K, Trump. That's what they're saying. F Trump throughout this ad. And then for her to say, they said it, not me. Yes, no, this is your campaign. Please enlighten me of how and why a campaign of F Trump is going to win you the U.S. Senate. Oh, I know. It's the state of Illinois. Because you have to be the one that out-Trumps your opponent in trumping Trump. This is what is happening. This is what is happening. F Trump, and that's the message? That's the message? And you want to call him a dictator, and you think... Now, that only flies in places like Illinois. Because there are other states who understand what's happening to this country under the leadership of President Donald Trump. But that's your message. You may want to listen to the comedian some more. So I think that's her name.
Trump, day one, Trump said, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, you getting the f*** up out of here. And I don't know if y'all paying attention, but guess what? They getting the f*** up out of here. Oh, bitch, they getting the f*** up out of here. And if I was you, I'd keep my birth certificate on me. If they ain't moving anybody, they moving everybody out this bitch. And women, I don't know why y'all walking around here still with all this international hair. You gonna be at the border trying to explain that to somebody. No, I'm American. The hair is Malaysian. I'm not Malaysian. The hair is Malaysia. I'm from America. Wait, call my mama. Mom, you need to bring my receipt. Come down.
You get them all out of here, even the Chicago Bears. Now, the Bears, if they go somewhere, I will be completely shocked. I will be completely shocked. But let's speak to why the reasons why they're looking to leave. Is this a failure of leadership on Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker? Is the current environment, economic environment, so bad that the Chicago Bears would look to Northwest Indiana as a place to rest the Chicago Bears? Yeah, here's Brandon Johnson.
Is my face straight? Okay. All right, keep a straight face here. The Bears belong in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago, right? And I've said repeatedly that the door is always open for conversations, Kevin Warren did call me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect, and I still firmly believe that their best position is in Chicago, and it's evidence. The evidence is clearly speaking for itself.
No, the Bears belong in Illinois. They don't belong in Indiana. I don't care if they're not in Chicago. The Bears belong in the state of Illinois. And they just bought all this land in Arlington Heights. Make it happen. Make it happen. I want to be able to go to a Bears game and get in and out, and it's 50 minutes from my house. It takes a little longer if I take the back roads. But listen to what Hammond is saying. Listen to what Hammond is willing to do, whereas the leadership of J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson are not.
Indiana lawmakers say they have zeroed in on Hammond for a new Chicago Bears stadium. And this morning, legislators voted unanimously to push a bill out of the Ways and Means Committee. The bill would create the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, similar to Illinois Sports Facilities Authority. And this could convince the Chicago Bears to cross state line and build a new stadium. Lawmakers say the Bears would pay $2 billion towards construction costs, and the proposal includes new food, beverage, and innkeepers taxes in Indiana's northwest counties to help pay for the stadium and infrastructure. Among the people who spoke during today's hearing include Hammond's mayor and the Indiana Speaker of the House.
Hammond's ready to partner with the Chicago Bears. Basically, Hammond will do whatever it takes to help make this project a success. Hammond is uniquely positioned for this moment. We're part of the Chicagoland region.
We've had excellent conversations with the Chicago Bears, and we're forging a relationship that will be the foundation of a public-private partnership leading to construction of a world-class stadium.
The Bears releasing a statement this morning saying in part the passage of SB 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We are committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. This latest action out of Indiana puts pressure on Illinois lawmakers to come up with a better proposal. Today, the Revenue and Finance Committee was scheduled to hear the mega project bill, but the meeting was canceled. The bill could give the Bears a long-term property tax break for their proposed stadium in Arlington Heights. No date has been set for a new hearing.
You remember when J.B. Pritzker said this about Indiana?
What do you think of Indiana wanting to pull some of those counties from Illinois that voted on secession?
Well, it's a stunt. It's not going to happen. But I'll just say that that Indiana is a low-wage state that doesn't protect workers, a state that does not provide health care for people when they're in need. And so I don't think that it's very attractive for anybody in Illinois, where wages are higher, where the standard of living is higher, and where we do provide health care for people who are in need.
Hey, Maize and Blue, but they got the Bears. I know that was about succession, but hey, Indiana lured the Bears to even discuss the concept of moving to Arlington Heights. Chicago's Morning Answer.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You know, there's nothing wrong with flying first class. Of course, everybody's got that cheapskate uncle that always says the back of the plane lands at the same time as the front of the plane. I guess there's some sort of cheapskate logic in that. However, the door is in the front of the plane. So why not get to first class? After all, they have dishes, silverware, glasses, warm towels. And if you want to sit at first class, or you aspire to, all you need is a little planning from Alpha Wealth Group. Their goal is to help maximize your income in retirement. Since you can't take it with you, there's no point in squandering your time. After all, the warm towels make the ride fun. Call Tom Fortino and Alpha Wealth Group for their complimentary roadmap to retirement, so you can take a first-class flight and not worry about the cost. Call 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711. 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
The Indiana Dogs are coming, baby. Or the Indiana Bears or the Hammond Bears are coming. What do you guys think? I want to get your take on this. I forgot today's open mic Friday, so they're probably going to call and give their take on Open Line Friday. But give us a call, 312-642-5600. That's 312-642-5600. The Indiana Bears. I never thought I'd see Indiana with two teams before Chicago got it. Now on to the newsroom with Stacey King.
Good morning. It is 37 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A Yorkville man has been sentenced to 12 years in prison following a conviction on 2 counts of aggravated sexual assault. Prosecutors say 24-year-old Chasky Roskoff sexually assaulted a young girl starting when she was just 9 years old. Roskoff admitted to some of the assaults but said that they occurred when he was also a minor. Chicago Loop Alliance President Michael Edwards is arguing that change is good when it comes to the new downtown area that he sees emerging after the corridor's ongoing following post-COVID struggles. New data shows Loop area retail vacancies ticked down in 2025, marking the second straight year of such development and giving raised hope to some that things may finally be settling down. The Loop retail vacancy rate in 2025 was 28.53%. That's down from 29.76% the year before, as the State Street area welcomed a Gap factory store, Panera Bread, and a Barnes & Noble. Edwards adds that sharp increases in foot traffic are also making a difference. This news report is sponsored by Audible. It's time to take care of you, and who better to help you than the top voices in well-being on Audible? Kickstart your well-being journey with your first audiobook free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com/wellbeing. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next.
On Thursday, February 26th, at Benedictine University in Lisle, AM 560 is hosting a Republican debate. Come hear the candidates for governor and U.S. Senate make their cases for why they should win your vote in the primary election. Be a part of the process to defeat J.B. Pritzker and replace Dick Durbin. Tickets are free, but registration is required. Get your tickets today at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
You know, there's nothing wrong with flying first class. Of course, everybody's got that cheapskate uncle that always says the back of the plane lands at the same time as the front of the plane. I guess there's some sort of cheapskate logic in that. However, the door is in the front of the plane, so why not get to first class? After all, they have dishes, silverware, glasses, warm towels. And if you want to sit at first class, or you aspire to, all you need is a little planning from Alpha Wealth Group. Their goal is to help maximize your income in retirement. Since you can't take it with you, there's no point in squandering your time. After all, the warm towels make the ride fun. Call Tom Fortino and Alpha Wealth Group for their complimentary roadmap to retirement, so you can take a first-class flight and not worry about the cost. Call 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711. 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
Active Liver from New Nordic protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon or in stores at CVS, Wegmans, and now GNC.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect low clouds with gusty winds exceeding 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain in the morning, leading to minimal accumulation. Later in the day, anticipate a light flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Be a part of AM 560's Republican debate on Thursday, February 26th at Benedictine University in Lisle. Get your free tickets today at 560theanswer.com/debate.
Let me start with the fact that it was a surprise to us. The Bears actually, yesterday, we completed more than 3 hours, my team did, of discussions with the Bears. Very positive discussions, and indeed mostly agreed on a bill that would move forward this morning. But they asked us not to move forward with it this morning because they said they wanted to tweak a couple of items in the bill, which were things that we were working with them on. And so to have a statement put out by the Bears, now they're saying to us that that statement is not some confirmation that they're moving to Indiana, but rather that Indiana had asked them to say that, you know, they're going to move forward with the negotiations in Indiana. But I have to say it's very disappointing. to hear that they would put that statement out but not say anything about the advancement that's been made in the state of Illinois. But, we're waiting to hear from the Bears what they'd like to do next.
Do you feel like this is kind of almost like an auction between the two states? Like, do you think they're playing this, or do you think they're really...
Of course they did.
Look, I've set out some principles for what it is that the state of Illinois should do. I want to protect the taxpayers of Illinois. I've said from the start we are not going to build a stadium for them. We do infrastructure. There's a lot of infrastructure needs that they would need. Both in Indiana, they would need it, but here in Illinois.
But you know what the reality of it is? Quinn and I were talking about this. The Bears are not cash rich. They're really not. Even the value of the team is not as I would have thought the value of the Chicago Bears would have been in the high billions of dollars. And it's really not. They're not a cash rich team. And when you think about how the McCaskies set up their structure, it's and especially living here under Illinois, they brought the politicians back. They forced the politicians back to the table. I thought it was masterful. Let's go to the phone lines. Roy from Glen Ellen. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. The key statement by the mayor, Kevin Warren, called me, and we were unable to connect.
Yeah, I caught that.
Well, unless you're in surgery, you drop everything and you take that call. That's amazing.
Yeah, I caught that. You see Kevin Warren's name come up because I'm sure you saved it as Bears president Kevin Warren or something to that nature, and you just ignore the call. You don't connect with him. You don't pick up the phone. Yeah, get out of mind.
Yeah,
he's not top of mind. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate the call. Let's go to George from Naperville.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, brother.
Why doesn't Pritzker's team make a deal with Indiana and send the White Sox over there and keep the Bears at Soldier Field?
I'm with that. You see my Cubs. If you're watching the stream, I'm a Cub fan, so you see my Cubs hoodie. So I'm with that. We can send them. But you remember, I think also the leaders understand what happened with the White Sox and how the government got fleeced with building that stadium from the White House. And the White Sox, and they're saying it's not going to happen again.
Go Cubs, John.
Go Cubs, go, baby. Alex Bregman is a heck of a pickup. Let's go to Mark from Oak Lawn. Mark, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, John. Thanks for taking my call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, question for you. You think about it. I think the credit rating, Illinois, out of all the states, it's got to be like one of the last. It's a deadbeat state.
I thought it was 49th, I thought.
And they don't pay their bills. I mean, I know I tried to do business with them years ago, and they pay you in 6 months. So my company said, well, forget about it. We're not doing business with deadbeats. And so the McCaskies, they're not, they might be greedy, but they're not dumb.
Right.
And they're really smart to get out of the state because it's look at the money, the money that's owed, and they're not even transparent about it, Illinois. They don't talk about the unions, the pensions that they owe. They consider that they don't even consider that a liability. They consider it it's like a non-negotiable thing that we don't put on our balance sheet.
No, we don't. And isn't there like a $500 million bill every year with the Bears? And if I forget how I gotta look that process up, but I know there's like a bill, and if the whatever they set up to pay off that $500 million bill, if it doesn't come from whatever the system how they set it up, it then falls to the taxpayers. I mean that's another issue that I think the Bears are dealing with.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
And think about this. Brandon Johnson's on. He gets on. He makes this public. He says, "Well, I tried to get a hold of Kevin Warren, but we never connected." If you're a businessman, you're all over that stuff. You're trying to talk to people, and and to just come out in public and say, "Well, we didn't connect."
Yeah.
It's sort of arrogant. And Pritzker, let's face it, he's an entitlement baby. He's been getting everything. He's been getting spoon-fed since he was in the womb.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Greg from Jefferson Park. Greg, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, John. Good morning. Good to talk to you. A couple things. One, I love it that if the Bears even go to Northwest Indiana, Illinois is going to have to fix some of those abysmal roads down there.
Yeah.
And one of the things they're asking for is for the Skyway to like lower their tab on the days there's game, forget about it. If I owned it, I wouldn't. I'd jack up the price on Sunday just for that purpose alone. And the last thing is, as far as the Bears go, going to Northwest Indiana. I think they're going to lose a bunch of people from the North Shore that used to go there. Who the hell's going to drive down there? I mean, everybody's running the situation where your car breaks down. What are you going to do? Take it to 63rd and Halstead to get fixed? I mean,
Well, 63rd and Halstead looks a little bit better than what it was when I was hanging out in that area.
All right, man. Have a good day, buddy.
Greg. Greg. Let's go to Craig from Mount Greenwood. Hey, Craig.
Hey, John. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, my brother.
Very good. Hey, on this one here, I actually I come up in a little bit contrast and different to a lot of my friends, and probably the way you and a lot of listeners are leaning. But I'm going to explain it. So my thought is, hey, go to Indiana and just kick that fat, deceptive, lying rat. It's basically governor, and then the Rand and his little sidekick there. Just kick them both right in the teeth and say, no, you've created a rotten situation here with the city of Chicago. You're running in the ground, unjust, rotten for the people, rotten for everybody, and basically, and they think they have it all figured out. His comments, Pritzker's comments, how they're not going there. He's got it all figured out. Now, they need a kick in the teeth, and I would be willing to take and say, hey, for that 19 miles and everything like that.
Yeah.
Just get the satisfaction of the bad guy losing.
Wait, I love this from Kenneth Miller on YouTube. The Bears have realized the significance of the passage of time of Sugar Honey Iced Tea Chicago. A play on Kamala Harris. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate. Wrong. Appreciate the call. Even Rachel Nichols. I really did like this take that Rachel Nichols had. But I really do believe this speaks more to the leadership, the political leadership of the state of Illinois than so much anything else, because I think somebody said it on YouTube, Arlington Heights is the place. I mean, if you build a retractable dome, you build all these restaurants, the tax base that Arlington Heights would gain from that. Can you imagine all of the year-round usage of Soldier Field? We can bring Super Bowls here to Arlington Heights. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, and they can build a huge compound in Arlington Heights that can serve all. Think about the restaurants, the hotels, and no matter. I mean, just think about you saw the drawings of what it would look like in Arlington Heights. Imagine if that happened. But then that could possibly go to Hammond, Indiana. I don't think it's happening.
The idea of a team whose ownership is worth $1.5 billion going to Indiana instead of staying in Chicago for tax money just blows my mind. These are the Chicago Bears. You know the two stadiums that the Chicago Bears have played with in their history? Wrigley Field for 50 years and then Soldier Field for the last 50 plus years. The history there, the history with this fan base, which is one of the greatest fan bases in the NFL. And look, ESPN's Courtney Cronin, who I really respect, was on the radio this morning and said, look, the McCaskey family, they just aren't liquid enough to build their own stadium. They do need this taxpayer money. Jason, you are not the owners of a team like the Chicago Bears. You are the stewards of a team like the Chicago Bears. And if you don't have the resources to keep the Bears in Chicago, you sell the team to someone who does. You do not hold on to it for the vanity of holding on to it and move them to Indiana. I am so fired up.
I was just trying to look up where this Dome Stadium would be. How far is this?
And speaking of that, how far? Phil from Maryville, I think he answers this question. Phil, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer. Phil, you there?
The area. You hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
I know the area pretty well. And if the Bears were to move to Wolf Lake, if you're coming from the north, the only way to get to that new stadium would be either the Skyway, where you pay that massive, it's like an $8 toll one way, or you'd have to go to 103rd Street, and it's a whole wraparound just to get to that Wolf Lake area.
Yeah.
And if you're in the south, there's a lot of those exits between 103rd all the way to Dalton area that you can't even get through. You'd have to go all the way to 147th, which is Sibley, to work your way around. I mean, they would have to build a new road or bridge to get in there, I think.
Well, and that's what the Hammond official said, that they would build all of the infrastructure for the Chicago Bears, plus help pay for the building of the stadium, and also it would be more of a collaborative effort with other cities within Indiana, in the Northwest Indiana area, to come together to help build the stadium and the infrastructure. I don't know how that. Yeah. Do those cities have that much money?
I mean, Indiana has a massive surplus of billions of dollars, so Hammond, I don't think that's really. They don't have a lot of money. They're kind of mediocre, but I mean, they would have to build that road because there was too many twists and turns to get to Wolf Lake. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Hey, Phil, you said what word? Surplus? We don't know anything about that here in Illinois.
I hear that.
Take care. Have a great day, brother.
You too.
All right, let's go to Brian from Wheatville, Indiana.
Hey, John, I'm glad they're using you to fill in.
Thank you.
I'm a Bears fan from Indiana, love the Bears, but keep your Illinois people in Illinois. I'm tired of your traffic. I'm tired all the business that's come here, and we got Illinois plates everywhere messing up the roads. We don't need any more of that.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Illinoisans stay in Illinois.
Yes, please. It's enough is enough. I mean, we've already taken most of the business from Illinois. We don't need any more now.
Well, the only reason why I ever go to Indiana is Indianapolis. Is it St. Elmo's? Is that the shrimp place where that?
Oh, yeah.
That's where I go. That's the only reason why I go to Indiana anyway.
Thanks, John. Have a good day today.
You too, Brian. Take care. Let's go to Paul from New Lenox. Paul, I actually voted to make this happen when I was in the state rep house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. The Cook County politicians are so blinded by handouts all the time, they don't recognize the revenue stream. Like when we had the opportunity to get the Star Wars museum.
Yes.
Oh, no. Well, millions of people come over to see that, but instead, let's have the Obama Library, which kind of looks like one of those things from Star Wars.
Looks like the
That's
Tower
all I
of
gotta
Babel.
say about, yeah. So, but again, let's get revenue back in the city of Chicago, except trying to get handouts from Washington. That's all I got to say.
Well, Paul, you do know that the Friends of the Park. So my aunt was a member of the Friends of the Park, and when she saw my name attached to that bill that would have allowed the Star Wars Museum, I'm like, what better use of that land than to put the Star Wars Museum there? And my aunt didn't talk to me for a couple of months after I told her I'm staying with them. I'm bringing the Star Wars Museum here.
All right, I ought to see that. Maybe we'll see you next week.
All right, take care. Let's go to Roger from the South Side.
Hey, nice to see you filling in, John.
Thank you, brother.
It's a lot of good, funny callers so far. Here's the reality. Who, if anybody in business in Chicago or in Illinois, wants to deal with our elected officials here from the state level? Listen, the bottom line of it, this is it's a circus.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with our policies here. What are our lawmakers doing right now? They want to put another 2,000 laws on the books. Here we have 465 Cook County judges. 95% of them. Freckwinkel's reduced the criminal code here down to essentially, well, we'll charge you possibly for attempted murder. This is I don't even know how to say it. It's just madness. They're going to keep leaving. The businesses that are left here will be the last ones on the block, so they're charging whatever they want, and they're all going to sell. They're going to sell out in the end.
Yeah.
If you can't keep people safe on the streets, forget about it.
Yeah, business.
So that's just my thought, you know.
And if you can't keep business owners safe, why would they want to stay here? Look at Ken Griffin. He left. I mean, one of the biggest benefactors of the state of Illinois. He left. Why did he leave? Because he couldn't deal with the leadership here in the state of Illinois, and yet we continue to vote these same people in.
Well, That's a different rabbit hole. I don't think we are voting them in.
Yeah, well,
and I think if you get the Safety Act, there's no doubt about it that these elections are. I think if you get Frank-Winkle out of there I think her number's up this time, and she's beatable. Look what Lightfoot did to her.
Yeah, she's running against Brendan Riley, right? Alderman, right?
The unfortunate thing is, it's not a real strong candidate. You know what I'm saying? But the right candidate could have wiped. It's time.
Yeah,
could have wiped the floor with her, but we'll see.
Well, that's true. Thanks, Roger. I appreciate the call.
All right.
And don't forget, Indiana also wants to take 33 counties from the state of Illinois. They want to take our counties. They want to take our Bears. And we're going to just sit back and let them because we have this weak, ineffectual leadership that's running our state. I mean, what really gives? I am, as a lifelong Illinoisan, it baffles me that we've allowed the political class to build such a sophisticated election system that Republicans simply can't win. And a lot of that is on Republicans too. I was talking to yesterday, Congressman Mike Boss was up here, and we were talking, shooting the breeze. I mean, some of the stuff that he was telling me about Gaza and where they found the last hostage in the tunnels. He showed me a picture of some of the tunnels, and dude, when you look at Gaza, you can literally see completely across the whole entire land. That's just how much has been leveled there. And we were talking about the state of Illinois and what will it take. Guys, there is no brand in the state of Illinois. I was listening to Sean Thompson on my way to go meet with Mike Boss, and I heard Sean talk about a building, 175 something. I don't recall the actual address. They bought it in 2018 for $300 and something million, sold it for $41 million. What does that say? It says just how toxic the political environment, the taxing environment is here in the state of Illinois, that businesses don't want to plant root here. And the only way that they want to stay here is if we give them tax incentives. This is what the Bears are requesting from Arlington Heights. I mean, think about that. These businesses they look at this environment and they say to themselves, I can't flourish here. I need to leave this state because of the taxations. And they're looking at every which way to tax you. I am telling you, taxing air is coming. They want to tax every mile you drive. If you want to build a bonfire, they want to tax you there. And Cook County already has this bag tax, I believe it's 10 cents bag tax. And they want to apply that to the entirety of the state. I mean, how much more can you take as a citizen of the state of Illinois before there's a revolt? Where is the revolt? Where is the candidate that can lead that? Stop playing, and I can't say it. No, I'm not going to say it. But there's a word that starts with P, ends with footing. Stop it. Illinoisans are looking for somebody to fight for them. They're looking for somebody to look at this political class and break it up. Where is the Trump of Illinois who's willing to take the sledgehammer to all of the sacred cows that we've allowed to be erected? Where is that candidate? Where are those state representative candidates, those Senate candidates that are willing to take to task this leadership? You talk about fascism. You talk about, communism. You talk about kings. We've been living under a lordship for decades here in Illinois, especially you Chicagoans. You haven't had a Republican. You haven't even tried. I'm like Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? Are you sick and tired of seeing if you own a home, your tax bill on your house rising every single year? I went from paying $4,000 in taxes to $10,000 in taxes on a property. What? How in the hell does that happen? We don't have any branding of leadership of republicanism to push back, to fight against what we see happening. Where is it? You guys are playing around with these politics. We need a fighter, somebody who gives a damn what they say about you? Fight for this state if you really want to do it. Fight for this state. You want to fight for the kids? Fight for them. Because nobody's doing it right now. Not one. Where is that tenacity? You guys are playing it too safe. There's too much on the line. There's entirely too much on the line, and you don't want to fight for it. You just want to what? See your name in lights? Get up on a stage? What the hell does that mean? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Is Illinois worth fighting for? What's your why? I still have yet to see whys of why these people are running for office. Where is it? Where is it? Convince me. Convince the voters, and not just Republican. Where's your coalition of building people to come together and say, we've had enough? I said yesterday, and I've watched. I'm just sitting in the background watching everything happen before me. These groups like Chicago Flip Red, I was watching yesterday on X, Philly Flip Red. And this guy went in there and he was sick and tired of what he was seeing in the city of Philly. That's what's happening with Chicago Flip Red, Chicago Red, and a lot of these different groups who are saying enough is freaking enough. Where's that mustard that says, when you look out at this state, this Illinois used to be one of the greatest states we've in the union. She's worth it. Yeah, call me naive, but I know she's worth it. I know she's worth it because of the people that reside in this state, the hardworking people. Even if we disagree in politics, Illinois is still worth fighting for. Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, I get on my soapbox sometimes, and I hate it. I hate when I do it because I lose sometimes some sensibilities, but I still believe that this state is worth fighting for, and we have to fight for it. I don't care what your listen. And there are 2.7 million people who identify as independents. Let's go after them. You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer on WIND Chicago.
President Trump is giving Iran 10 to 15 days. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Well, we're going to make a deal, or we're going to get a deal one way or the other.
As for the other, the president tells reporters on Air Force One it's going to be unfortunate for Iran as he demands they make a deal to scale back their nuclear and weapons programs, or he could attack like last year when the U.S. joined Israel bombing Iran's nuclear facilities.
Experts say the United States will this weekend have the firepower in place to hit Iran where it hurts. The USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier and 3 destroyers are moving towards the coast of Israel, bringing to a dozen the number of U.S. warships in the region. This week, more than 150 military cargo flights brought weapons and ammunition, including air defense to repel an Iranian counterattack. Dozens of fighter jets are also ready for action.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Trump also warned Iran at his first Board of Peace meeting that focused on rebuilding Gaza after Israel's war on Hamas.
We work together to ensure the brighter future for the people of Gaza, the Middle East, and the entire world.
Announcing the U.S. will give $10 billion to the board. Other countries are going to give $7 billion for Gaza and commit a peacekeeping force. In a few hours, President Trump will have breakfast with some governors, but not all.
The National Governors Association, in a statement to Fox News Audio Thursday, said it could not be part of a meeting, quote, that does not welcome all governors. In a Truth Social post from last week, President Trump said he did not invite two Democratic governors to the breakfast, Colorado's Jared Polis and Maryland's Wes Moore, the NGA's vice chairman. The president added he felt they were not worthy of attending.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The president also made news on Truth Social last night, posting he'll direct the government to begin the process of identifying and releasing files related to aliens and UFOs, calling it extremely interesting and important. Days after former President Obama told a podcast aliens are real, but he hasn't seen them. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 35 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker says he was surprised when the Chicago Bears stated that they have a vision for a world-class stadium in Hammond, Indiana. Jim Talamonte reports.
The Bears released a statement saying they were committed to the remaining due diligence necessary to support their stadium vision near Wolf Lake. Governor J.B. Pritzker said he was disappointed after his team met with the Bears on Wednesday.
We completed more than 3 hours, my team did, of discussions with the Bears. Very positive discussions, and indeed mostly agreed on a bill.
Also Thursday, the Indiana House Ways and Means Committee passed legislation to establish a stadium authority. Indiana House Speaker Todd Houston sponsored Senate Bill 27.
The new stadium will be a catalyst for growth across the entire Northwest Indiana corridor, bringing jobs, new tax revenue, and new businesses.
Houston said both the Bears and the state would be making significant investments. I'm Jim Talamonte.
The Liberty Justice Center has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Illinois Supreme Court justices for what the LCJ says was the unconstitutional removal of Judge James R. Brown. The retired judge was recalled to Cook County Circuit Court in December of last year to help fill judicial vacancies. Brown was removed 6 weeks later after the Cook County Bar Association and the Chicago Council of Lawyers objected to an opinion column and podcast appearance by Brown before he returned to the bench. The lawsuit seeks to restore Brown to his recall position and to obtain damages for economic and reputational harm. News is a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship that you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com. That's SteinerHomesLTD.com. Northwest Indiana's leading home builder, Steiner Homes. Love where you live. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Scott Jennings sees a disconnect.
2/3 of Americans say that yes, local police and jails should hand illegal immigrants over to federal law enforcement. Of course, the Tim Walz and Jacob Fry position is that they will not cooperate. Democrats, it seems, are badly out of step with the American people.
The Scott Jennings Show, weekdays at noon, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, I'm Steve Wyatt, and I want to invite you to the Wyatt Matters Show, which airs every Sunday on this station. You can expect lively discussion and heartfelt reflection that will both entertain and inspire you. And if we do it right, maybe deliver some genuine laughter as well. We talk about not only what matters, but also why it matters.
Wyatt Matters, Sunday morning at 6 on AM 560. The Answer.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Crime is already skyrocketing in 2026. Now, you may already own a firearm, but before you face the financial, the legal, the emotional weight of pulling that trigger, there is new technology, a smarter option. It's non-lethal. BYRNA.com. Berta makes less lethal launchers. It fires tear gas, pepper spray, kinetic rounds. It is designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes. That gives you time to escape. That gives you time to get help without deadly consequences. Now, remember, it fires at 400 feet per second, and it has serious stopping power, enough to shut down a threat very fast without the legal, moral complexity of using lethal force. And every single launcher hand-assembled in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana. Legal in all 50 states, no background check, and they'll ship it straight to your door. Just go to BYRNA.com today and find the right launcher for you and your family. That's BYRNA.com.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. In great shape this morning on the Edens, 15 minutes both ways from Lake Cook to Montrose and the Kennedy. That's only 18 minutes in, 23 out from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange. You've got 14 minutes both ways on the Ike from Wolf to the old post office, 24 in, 23 out on the Stevenson from Veterans Memorial to Lakeshore, and the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange is 14 in, outbound is 11. News and Traffic is a service of American Beam and Steel, structural repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online to schedule your consultant directly with the owner, Mark. American Beam and Steel. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now the latest forecast from the latest Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect low clouds with gusty winds exceeding 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain in the morning, leading to minimal accumulation. Later in the day, anticipate a light flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Chicago. John Anthony filling in for Dan Proft, who's just been so gracious to allow me to fill in. As I told you guys yesterday, Dan doesn't just let anybody fill in. And knowing that he allows me, listen, one of the things about how I do radio, I'm going to tell the truth. If what I believe to be true it turns out to be wrong, I apologize. But I also look at radio as a outlet to not only get the truth out, but to help people as well. I'm not Dan Proft. I'm not Sean Thompson. I'm John Anthony. So how I try to do radio, I try to bring forth my life experiences to help. I really do. Because I love this state. I could have left this state many years ago, but I chose to stay here to fight for this state because I really do believe in this state. And I believe in this state because I believe in the people. I do believe we can break through. Call me naive. You can say what you want to say. I'm out there on the ground talking to real people. And another thing about why I approach radio the way I do is because when I do talk to these people, I hear what they're saying. Guys, there are so many people struggling to live this thing called life here in this state of Illinois. Others they leave and they find the reality that even though they don't have the same problems they have in Illinois, problems follow you, people. It follows you. So my thing is, I'm going to fight for this state while I'm still here. Should I leave? Somebody asked, Nancy Wolf thought John had a Detroit show for years. I did have a Detroit show. It's no longer here. So it was canceled at the pretty much in the middle of January. But I am still on Black and Right in Detroit on 92.7 FM and AM 1400. I think I was saying this yesterday. This show, Chicago's Morning Answer, this station, it goes all the way up to Niles, Michigan. John Gallagher and I were driving. I've been in 7 years. This will be my August 19th. It will be 7 years of doing Black and White radio, Blakemore. 7 years, and then I'll be starting my 8th year. So let's go to the phone lines. Oh, my brother, Corey from Woodlawn.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, John. Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
You know, this state needs a Thanos, someone to shrink this state's government down to its last atom.
Yes.
That's the only way Illinois survives. I don't see this state surviving any other way. All of its brands have left. I mean, the only big name here is State Farm, and that's in Bloomington. And I think they're ready to pack up and get the heck out of here as well.
Yeah. I love that. I love that Thanos. We really need somebody with a big hammer and who's not afraid to swing it. I'm telling you. And Corey, I've always said, if I talk to you, I heard you say one day about your brother. You were telling Dan, I don't know if you know it, but my brother was shot and killed in Lansing a year and a half before my son was killed. So I definitely understand losing a brother. He was my baby brother as well.
And Anthony, I worked with police, when I was in Woodlawn through CAPS, but my mom is having a hell of a time getting the police to even answer the call. They gave her card. They even have a video of the guy beating my brother. It was like 5 of them jumped on Lake and Laramie. She can't even get these guys to make one arrest. They won't arrest these guys. They got a video of all 5 of them beating them to death in May of last year. I mean, this state has gotten ridiculous as to what they will allow to happen to their citizens.
Wow. Corey, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you mind sharing your number with me? I got some people we can talk to, and former Chicago police officers and current Chicago police officers. You mind if I get your number from? Well, I'll get it from Justin.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Corey. I really appreciate the call, brother.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. He's right, though. We need a hammer. We need somebody who's willing to just break down. And I have said, the person that rises up to be the Trump of Illinois, and I know there are some people who are now saying that Rick Heidner is that guy who's going to be, when you look at the similarities in their background, and I know a lot of people like to talk about the whole giving money to Democrats and things of that nature, but that's the system. That's how the system. I interviewed Don Tracy on my Detroit's Morning Show, and we talked about that as well. Is that right? No. Well, when you understand how the system and structure is built here in the state of Illinois, it forces people like them to give money in order to do business here in Illinois. That needs to change. The only way that changes is if there's a viable Republican Party. How do we build a viable Republican Party to push back and to fight back against what we see here in the state of Illinois? Think about this. Think about this. And it's all messaging, too. It's messaging. Where is the messaging? Where is the messaging as it relates to how to connect with the collar counties? We've lost it. I mean, think about this. When we had Republican leaders in the Senate and in the House, as Lee Daniels was the last Republican House Speaker. But when you look at in the Senate, we've had Republican leaders there. When you look at a county like DuPage, you look at even where I live, Kendall County, it was a crimson red county. But you know what happened? Folks from Chicago no longer wanted to, because they didn't feel safe, and they started trekking westward. And guess what? They didn't leave their politics there. They brought their politics to these western suburbs and these collar counties. And we didn't have anybody, because one of the things, this is why I do Black and Right radio. Republicans don't understand the fight and culture. Politicians have used the culture. Okay, here, this is how I love to explain it. When you think about politics and culture, the Democrats have come to an understanding that it's the culture that moves the needle as it relates to politics now. So all they do is they take their hammer and wham! Next thing you know, gay marriage becomes law. Next thing you know, abortion is on demand in the state of Illinois because there's no pushback from Republicans, and when they do push back, it's heartless. Yeah, I said it. It's heartless. And you don't have to agree with me there. You have to be in a position and understand what these people who go through abortions are dealing with. I am 100% pro-life. But you know what I've done in my life? My wife and I, we've sat with people after they've left abortions. We've sat with people and talked them out of abortions. And we've been there every step of the way. You may not like that. You may say, what the heck, John? You stupid. No. I have a heart. Republicans appear that they don't have a heart because that's part of the messaging. That is part of the messaging in Republican circles today. You want to know why these as Dan called them, awfuls are running away from the Republican Party? They don't feel like they have a place in the Republican Party, and they're conservative. They may not be conservative on social issues. Give them a space to talk. When I ran for state representative, I went into Democrat circles. I challenged them. I didn't change my position on who I was. I didn't change my position on what I stood for. But I just gave them an opportunity to give their perspective. I'm arguing with some lady on Instagram right now. And she's saying I'm protecting Trump and his pedophile. I said, prove it. You prove it, and I'll come out and say Trump is a pedophile. But he's not. You've yet to prove it. Stop throwing these accusations around when you cannot prove it. Remember, I'm a former cop. I look for proof. You know, I don't just because you tell me something don't mean I have to agree with you. You know, and you're not going to pick my friends. You're not going to tell me who to support. You're not going to tell me what to think or what to say. That's not how this thing in life called freedom works. Bob from Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, John. Always a pleasure when you're hosting.
Thank you.
I wonder how much gerrymandering has to do with the Howard counties, because I'm in the 5th. It's a ridiculous gerrymander. Being in Buffalo Grove, of all things, Amy Jacobson on the lakefront is in my district.
Yeah.
And then the other key county or area that, and I'll date myself, but I'll go back, 30, 40 years when McHenry County was a conservative stronghold with Phil Crane is the congressman.
Yeah.
And we're not going to fix that until we have what I would call the miracle of 1994, when somehow the Republicans took both houses in Illinois.
Yeah.
And we had a Republican governor.
Yeah.
But that was the miracle of 1994. I don't know what happened since, but the Republican Party, I follow with regards to Sean. He says,
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Bob, what happened. Wait, hold on, Bob. I'm gonna tell you what happened. We've had a lot of infiltration. Let me explain something to you. What's happening? You have a lot of Democrats who realize they sit in certain positions that they can't win in Republican areas as a Democrat, so they flip to Republican and run for Republican. That, in my opinion, that is a true rhino. But labeling people rhinos who are not rhinos because we have difference of opinion. Listen, we got to stop with that as Republicans, because guess what? There's no purity test in the Republican Party. You can't. You just simply can't. Look at how President Trump built this coalition. It's falling apart now. It's falling apart now because people are seeing the end of President Trump's term coming in his second term. So that coalition is falling apart. But guess what? I did not like Bruce Rauner. I voted for Jeannie Ives in the governor's race. But guess what? I held my nose and voted for Rauner because I knew that even though Rauner and Pritzker, Rauner was still a better guy than Pritzker, even though I disagree with Rauner.
You have a good weekend and enjoy your comments.
All right, Bob. Let's go to Carrie in Belvedere.
Hi, John.
Hi, Carrie.
Came across you probably about a year ago. I grew up in Michigan, grew up in Pontiac, actually, Waterford area. And my sister turned me on to you, but I just wanted you to know, well, two things. My son dealt with suicide and all that. He found Charlie Kirk, and that turned him around. And then when I started hearing you talk, I had my son tune in every Sunday so that he could hear you talk. And I just want you to know that you have changed his life.
Oh, thank
because
you.
he loves to hear you. Now, my second topic is I'm really frustrated and aggravated with MAGA. I'm part of MAGA in Illinois, and I follow different groups on the socials across numerous socials. Nobody's backing one person. We're all divided, and it's so aggravating. And Trump hasn't endorsed anybody, so it's like, where do you go? Who do you vote for? You know.
Well, Carrie,
I'm just frustrated. I just wish MAGA would come together and back one person, because I know we'd be able to change the governor.
Okay, but Carrie, you know what? I'm okay with division. I'm okay with division in the primary. My only thing is, after the fight, will you come together to take down J.B. Pritzker and his horde of people? I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay with you picking who you determine to be, you think is best fit to take on J.B. Pritzker. But once that fight is over, because let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you. What happens in the Democrat Party? Let me explain something, because I was a part of the Democrat Party. I was a part of the 21st Ward, 53rd Precinct in Chicago when I was a young kid. The Democrats, you rarely see them have these open fights. You rarely do. They understand power. They understand how to attain power, and they understand that if they show their fights in the open, that they have well, we don't have a Republican Party who could take advantage of that. But they understand this is what happened in Florida. This is what happened in Texas. And remember, people forget that Texas and Florida were two blue states, and Arkansas. And they came together and realized that in order to defeat and push back against the Marxism and the communism that was infiltrating their states, they had to come together and push back and fight, even though they disagreed, even though there was division. And they didn't put it out there on Main Street for everybody to see it.
Yeah, that's true, because Bongino, even before he went to the FBI, he said that same point that you're making right now, so that's true.
Yeah.
I really hope that MAGA will come together in the end, because, you know, I backed away from the anti-protest and standing on bridges. We're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
We need to get out there grassroots, and we need to start door knocking and all that. And I feel like a red M&M and a bowl of green ones sometimes. Like I'm the only one.
And that's good.
You know,
that's actually a good thing. Hey, guess what? Stand proud about that. You're the only red M&M in a bowl of greens. You know what we need to do? We need to register voters. We need to sign up to be election judges. We need to sign up to be poll watchers. You want to real, because guess what? Especially in places like Cook County, there are no Republican poll watchers and judges to watch what's happening in the vote count. And you want to know why Cook County and why the last election was done in 7 minutes? We have none of our people there.
That's true. I am an election judge, and for the 2024 race for Trump, I talked my son into it. I'm like, you're going to be part of history. I told him, because I was a door knocker for Reagan. Yeah. When I grew up in Michigan, I was part of that. I say I was part of it because I was a door knocker with my grandma and my parents, but I had my son sign up, and we're election judges again this year too.
Wow,
you
that's
know,
good for you.
we hopefully, I just really hope that MAGA will come together. I don't want to stand on a bridge and wave a flag because I mean, it's nice and everything, and it's nice to hear people beeping and woo, whip-dee-doo, you know, and it's like we need more. We need more. So we need. I just wish that I had the like Scott Presler does, because it's just hard because it's just hard. It's frustrating. That's all.
Thank you, Carrie.
You made me feel a lot better about it. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, Carrie, you know why? Because no matter what happens in this world, God is still in control. He's still on the throne. And guess what? No matter what happens politically, I know one thing. And this is my peace. This is why I look at, because I'm telling you, I've told people, ever since my brother died and my son died, I see the world from a different perspective. I don't see it the way a lot of people see it. And it's because I've had so much trauma and pain that God has broken me to the point where I look at people, I don't see Republican or Democrat. I don't. I see the individual. I see the hurt.
Right.
I see the pain. This is what I see in people now. And you know what? If you disagree with that, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people who disagree with me.
Sense.
So, thanks, Carrie.
Make a lot of sense.
Thank
well,
you.
let's just hope we get a red governor, because if not, I'm moving.
All right, Carrie.
You have a great day and have a great weekend.
You have a
Thank
great
you very
one.
much for your time.
Thank you. You know what? You see what's happening in New York with the Mamdani?
The mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Saving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Zoran Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind.
Mamdani is a problem. And you know what? I've never called for the defeat of a politician as it relates to what I'm going to do with Mamdani. And I've said this from day one. Valon and I had this back and forth about him. And Valon said it from day one that Mamdani would be the next mayor. And I told him, I said, it depends on who runs against him. And you saw who he had to run against him. There was really no competition. Mamdani, and Valon has this thing where he says, I call him the troublemaker on Black and Right, where a lot of these voters, all they care about is cut the check. What's free? What can you do for me? I want to see communism fail in the city of New York. I want to see the platform that Mamdani has put forth. Anytime this type of ideology rears its head, it needs to be defeated. Because everywhere where socialism, communism, fascism, totalitarianism, everywhere that it's been implemented, it has failed. It fails because the people yearn to be free. There's freedom in the heart of every individual. And when people like Mamdani come and attempt to attack that freedom that people know they deserve and have, it fails. And it has to fail. It has to fail. How much time I got? I was going to play an audio. I don't have the time, but I'll play it when we got a guest coming up next. I'll play it in the 7:07 hour because Jamal Green ain't responding to me. Jamal, if you're listening, you got to respond, brother. I really wanted to bring him on. But you know what? I'll play I'll play just a little bit of it. This is Representative Hudson from Minnesota.
If they come to our state, it's an invasion. It's an occupation. People are being kidnapped, not detained, not arrested, kidnapped. Rhetoric like that, and the stance that your party has taken from top to bottom, from Governor Walz all the way down, that there is no legitimacy to federal authority is nothing less than insurrectionist rhetoric. And that is why, take your moment. I got mine. Take your moment to digest that. Look it up. The number of lawyers that are laughing at me right now. Do you understand?
I think he's a brother too, Minnesota State Rep. I think he's a brother. But that's what happens when we have our perspective on things, and when we don't follow, the echo chamber. We don't follow the trail that other blacks have built that black people should follow. We get ridiculed. Chicago's Morning Answer.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Ross Shaw talks about building income in retirement.
You know, you can actually structure it in a way to have that $4,000 a month coming in the door every single month. So you don't have to look at the stock ticker and say, oh, the stock market's up today, stock market's down. You still got that $4,000 a month, and having that opportunity to take the vacations and do all the fun things in retirement that you always dreamed to do.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we talked to former Riverside Police Chief Tom Weitzel. You guys heard about what happened in Michigan with the Detroit Police Chief and how he chastised his officers? Well, we talked that and more with former Riverside Chief Tom Weitzel. Now into the newsroom.
Good morning. It is 35 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Police have arrested a man following a home invasion on Thursday. Police say that arrest came after a standoff with the suspect that lasted several hours. Officials say the ordeal began when police received a call regarding an armed suspect in their Arlington Heights home around 7:30 yesterday morning. 2 people were inside the home. They managed to hide in a bedroom until officers rescued them. Area schools were placed on lockdown while SWAT teams and police negotiated with the suspect, who was eventually led away in handcuffs from the scene about 6 hours after the incident began. And Chicago police are investigating another incident where a victim was randomly punched while she was walking to work. The victim told police she was at the intersection of Clark and Washington Streets when she heard yelling. She says as she passed the man, he hit her on the back of her head and ran away. The 27-year-old victim says she's hopeful police will put measures into place to prevent other women from being victimized. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again, not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
On Thursday, February 26th, at Benedictine University in Lisle, AM 560 is hosting a Republican debate. Come hear the candidates for governor and U.S. Senate make their cases for why they should win your vote in the primary election. Be a part of the process to defeat J.B. Pritzker and replace Dick Durbin. Tickets are free, but registration is required. Get your tickets today at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I give up. Where are they?
Who?
Employees.
What?
You say Hassleus Mattress Showrooms don't have any employees. Come on, bud. I know better.
I assure you.
Are they cooped up in a secret back room?
Huh?
Or waiting outside in the bushes?
Sir.
I know. They're hiding under the beds, aren't they?
Listen, Hassleus Mattress Showrooms really are employee-free. Give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Nope, don't believe it.
You won't believe our prices either. Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more for way less.
Right.
Others sell a Queen Aspen Cove A hybrid for $1,820, but our everyday low Hassleus price is just $994. Free next day delivery too.
Next you'll say I can get a free adjustable base with my purchase through Monday.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Oh, come on!
Save on Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest, plus get a free adjustable base. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
When someone you love is living with memory loss, finding the right care isn't just important, it's everything. At Terra Vista of Oak Brook Terrace, memory care isn't an add-on, it's all we do.
When Mom moved into Terra Vista, everything changed. She's safe, engaged, and surrounded by people who truly understand dementia. And I finally get to just be her daughter again.
Terra Vista was built specifically for caring for those with Alzheimer's and other types of dementia, with secure indoor and outdoor spaces, innovative therapies, and a community that feels like home. Residents stay active, connected, and respected every single day.
And the best part? Mom can live with dignity, and I have peace of mind.
If memory care is in your future, choose the community designed for it. choose Terra Vista of Oak Brook Terrace. Schedule a tour today at terravista.org. Again, that's terravista.org, and tell them AM560 sent you. Terra Vista, where memory care lives.
Israel, a hot topic right now. Hi, it's Chris Stigall. So many opinions around Israel, emotions. I can understand why it feels hard to know where to start. I like to start with the Bible. Scripture tells us, I will bless those who bless you. And that's not just a comforting promise, it's a clear calling from God. So today, with anti-Semitism on the rise, that calling is more urgent than ever. At a time when Jewish communities are experiencing more hostility, more threats, and more violence than ever, Christians have a powerful opportunity to respond with God's love, to say, you're not alone. When Christians choose to bless Israel, we're not entering into some political issue. We're honoring the root of our faith and standing against hatred. Supporting Israel is more than a belief. It's a biblical mandate. And by partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, you can push back against the darkness and be a light to God's people. Learn how you can bless Israel at ifcj.org. Live the word. Answer the call. ifcj.org.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. In great shape on the Edens, it's 15 in, 14 out. And that's from Lake Cook to Montrose, the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 18 minutes in, outbound getting a little bit busy at 26. 14 minutes both ways on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office. And the Stevenson is 26 in, 23 out from Veterans Memorial to Lakeshore. The Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange, 17 in, 12 minutes on the outbound side. This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Score major deals on top brands at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Find your dream mattress today. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right one to fit your unique needs. They make sleep easy. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now the latest forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect low clouds and strong winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain this morning, leading to little to no accumulation. Later in the day, there will be a flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. Tomorrow, anticipate some sunshine with a high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, everyone. It's Chief Tom Weitzel. I wanted to just let you know about some of the worst police leadership I've seen in a long time. So the police chief in Detroit, Michigan has announced that he has suspended 2 of his officers and is going to be seeking termination because they cooperated with or contacted Customs and Border Patrol. They had an individual stopped on a felony warrant. They thought this individual was in the country illegally. The officer contacted Customs Border Patrol. And then there was a sergeant called to the scene only to do translation because the individual they had stopped only spoke Spanish. Now he's going to fire them. At least that's what he's announced. They are suspended with pay right now, but this is absurd. Who in their right mind would want to work for Detroit PD or this chief? They did a lawful act. You need to stand up. You're acting as a politician, not a chief.
That was the voice of retired Chief of Police Riverside and Fellow of Law Enforcement with Awake Illinois. I love that new partnership. Thomas Weitzel. Thomas, welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. Or Tom, I should say.
Hey, good morning, and thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
Now, I made a post about this a couple of weeks ago. What does it mean to assist ICE or to assist Border Patrol? Because I do recall that there were moments like when you look at what happened to ICE in Chicago when they were being run off the road and CPD was told to stand down. Chief, when did policing get to the point where just simply sending somebody to interpret something is considered a violation of the sanctuary law?
We got here under the previous administration, and then we're here because the local politicians, whether they be mayors, village presidents, city managers, have instituted either these welcoming ordinances or sanctuary city ordinances. But I totally disagree with what's happening in Detroit. I don't believe that even applies. In fact, the paperwork I saw to seeking the termination of those two officers, one being a sergeant, is saying they cooperated with ICE, which they didn't. It was the Border Patrol. I mean, get your facts right to begin with. And second of all, one incident, the individual was wanted on a felony warrant, and the other one they just called for translation. They didn't actively go out assisting Border Patrol on hunting down illegals or even individuals that had detainers. They only were asking for assistance from them with translation, and then the other case, the felony warrant, and the individual was in the country illegally, and both were true. So, my estimation, they're doing their job. So, if those officers are terminated, and I don't know if you read yesterday that the sergeant has filed a lawsuit already. Good. and an injunction to prevent the chief from terminating her. And I think that's going to fly. I would sue for unlawful termination immediately. They did their job.
Yeah. Chief, where does the collective bargaining come in? When they went for the collective bargaining agreement, was this language that they couldn't assist ICE and this type of law enforcement within the collective bargaining agreement? Because if it's not, how can they be held accountable?
No, it's not. I haven't seen their union or their representation really come out defending the officers yet, at least aggressively. And I read that it's a city or Detroit's ordinance or welcoming ordinance, like Chicago has and many other Illinois communities, that it's not written into their collective bargaining contract. And even the ordinance for the city says actively assisting ICE. They weren't actively assisting, in this case, United States Border Patrol. It's just a lie.
Yeah. And that's why in the post that I made, I said that I believe these sanctuary cities have to now define what it means to actively assist. Because if I'm on patrol, let's say I'm on patrol, I'm back in policing, I'm on patrol, and ICE is out there, and I see somebody hit ICE, it's my duty that I swore to the Constitution of the state of Illinois and the Constitution of the United States of America that if I saw a crime occur in front of me, that's my duty as a sworn law enforcement officer to stop what I see happening right in front of me, correct? So they're saying that these officers can't do this now?
Absolutely. If you don't, you'd probably be written up for, failure to do your duty, right?
Yeah.
That is, and remember, a lot of these activists and politicians that say, we're not going to honor these detainers or these final orders of deportation. We want warrants. Well, one of these individuals had an active felony warrant, so you met that criteria. Yeah. Let's be clear about that. And the other one is they called for translation. Are you kidding me? You want to terminate, in this case, a sergeant for calling for translation? And I saw the chief said, well, we had a translation service available that you could call on the phone. Well, you know what? So did I. When I was chief in Riverside, so do we. And you know what? Those translation services suck. They don't work when you're out on the street. They don't work when you have somebody stopped on the road. They work when somebody's in custody in your lockup, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is a situation that took place on the street.
Now, Chief, you served 37 years in law enforcement. I believe 13 years as chief. Were you chief when prior to sanctuary state laws?
Yeah, I was chief during it. Yes.
So, what was the process? Let's say, were you chief during Barack Obama as president?
Yes.
Okay. What was that process when you guys found somebody that got into your custody who was wanted on an ICE, who had a 200, and ICE showed up with a Form 200 or Form 205? Did you guys honor just simply the Forms 200 and 205 at that time while President Obama was president?
We did not, and this is how it worked. We had a welcoming type ordinance too, and there were times that we would arrest somebody for whatever retail theft. Let's use that as an example. Their fingerprints cleared. We immediately got a fax back then. It might be an email. Now you get a fax that came in that says we have a detainer on this individual, or we have a final deportation order. They would both come through. Please hold them for 72 hours. If he or she's going to bond out at your facility, contact us. We'll have Customs or ICE pick them up at your facility. And we did not do that back then. We were under threat of intimidation and threat of you'd be fired, or your officers would be fired, or you would violate that. So they would go after you. They would, they would open up an investigation and try to terminate that. I never was for that, ever, ever, ever. We didn't run across it all that often, but communities that make a lot of arrests or have malls or have large entertainment district or warehousing, they run across it all the time, John.
Yeah. So, Chief, if you had to advise President Trump on what a clean process would look like as it relates to the holds and working with the courts, working with the jails to bring these people so that the fight doesn't go to the street, what process would you lay out?
I could tell you without a doubt, 95% of these confrontations between either people wanted on detainers or, activists that want to throw bottles and chuck bricks at the police. If you would allow ICE to pick up individuals wanted on detainers at lockups, at state prisons, at holding facilities when they are going to be released after your local charges, there would be no confrontation, John. None.
When you look at, I'm sure you've seen a lot. You've seen what happened with Good, with Petty. You see a lot of these people, these so-called protesters. I don't have a problem with the whole whistle thing. I really don't. But when you see how these things play out, what would you tell your officers? Would you have them go out especially when they're blocking the roadways and things of that nature? Would you have your officers out there bringing a stop to that? Because technically that wouldn't be assisting ICE. That would be assisting the people of Riverside, correct?
Correct. And, what I would do is I would have to pay attention until this stupid sanctuary city laws or ordinances or welcoming ordinances are rescinded. But I would not have my officers actively looking for individuals wanted by ICE. But if we came across a situation on the street that ICE or Border Patrol were under attack, or they were being pelted with things, or there was this large chaotic disturbance, absolutely, you are required to help. Yeah. You are required because, you're helping the residents you serve. You're helping what's going on with the people in your town. It's all these outsiders that want to make you think, why did your officers do this? Why? Hey, listen, you don't live here. We were helping the people that we're paid to help. My officers are to protect the residents here, and this action we took helped do that.
Chief, I don't know if you saw that video on 13th and Holman where the police officers, they were trying to detain this individual, and his friends intervened and was trying to they were pushing on the officers. I think it was a former Chicago cop. I was sitting in with Amy, who called in, and he basically said, where was the baton? Where was the ASP? Why didn't they deploy? To his credit, he was saying he wasn't trying to Monday morning quarterback because you know how easy that can be. But why are police departments across this nation? It appears to me that they can't be police officers and maintain the peace in their communities because, first of all, they're afraid of losing their pensions. They're afraid of becoming the next poster person poster man for a lot of this anti-police, defund the police things. And you know what happens. How do we solve this?
We have to allow the police to be the police and to do their job and do it lawfully. And they already do that with, compassion and professionalism. But make no doubt, police officers are holding back. They're not doing proactive policing. And I'm saying that, just look at the Detroit. If you don't think this is making a statement, if those officers are terminated and that was to be upheld, for example, that will be known nationwide. Every single police officer will know these officers were fired for allegedly, assisting ICE or Border Patrol in an unlawful way, which is not true. But they're sending a message. And the governor here in Illinois, he made a statement in 2025 that if police officers or sheriff's deputies are found to be cooperating with the federal government, Border Patrol, ICE, his administration would do everything possible to see that there was a thorough investigation and it was handled correctly. That just means we're going after you.
And you know what, Chief? I'm calling on anybody who has the wherewithal, the money to challenge, because sanctuary laws as a whole has never been challenged on the constitutional base to determine if it's unconstitutional as a whole. It's only been bits and pieces of challenging the sanctuary laws. I really do hope that and I hope maybe this is the case, I don't know, but I really do hope there's a case where, because you and I both know, in order to understand what's lawful and not, sometimes in policing, the courts have to decide this. So if I'm still in policing, Chief, I'm not going to lie to you. I would engage. I would be willing to lose that job and engage to protect the people of Kendall County, where I was a sheriff's deputy at, and deal with the consequences and come what may. Do you think it's time for somebody to actually go out and make that challenge to it, to determine and let it reach all the way to the Supreme Court, if some rich backer can help push that through?
Yeah, without a doubt, we need that, or the Trump administration needs to have the U.S. Department of the state, the Attorney General, or someone file a lawsuit and say that these are just going, like we mentioned earlier, the time when Chicago went and was pulled back from helping ICE and Border Patrol in what was actually a chaotic riot situation. Initially, they were pulled back. We have to define that's not a violation of the sanctuary city or welcoming ordinances. That assisting officers being battered, injured, attacked does not violate that. We need that to be stated.
Yes. I'm just looking at somebody's posting on YouTube. Anti-ICE agitator steals ambulance from hospital, packs it with gas cans, rams it into the DH office building in Idaho. This is what we're dealing with. This is what is before us as a nation. What do we need to do? I mean, Chief, what's happening to the men and women that serve in our police departments, it's a travesty. And I see that you're working with Awake Illinois. I really do hope that you could, and I love Shannon. Shannon Adcock is one of the greatest people. She gets a bad rap, but that woman loves this state, and she loves to see kids protected. I do know that about her. I did a lot of work with her during the COVID. What's that part? How did that partnership come about?
Well, they reached out to me because they had seen what I've been doing for trying to really push our profession forward, and specifically the chief's position and legislative possibly, and asked me if I would consider being a fellow for their organization, the first ever to be a fellow of law enforcement. And my area of expertise would be law enforcement. That's what they wanted me to stay in my own lane. They wanted somebody that could advise them on legislation, on good, poor legislation, could write for their blog posts, could put information out that's factual and counter this narrative that the police are the enemy. And somehow we've become this disease that most Americans don't want. And John, you and me both know that's a lie and not the truth. We just need to get our message out better. And we also need police chiefs and sheriffs to stand up.
I agree. Chief, where can people follow you? I know you have a Substack. I know you're very active on Twitter or X.
Yeah, so I'm on X at Chief Weitzel, at Chief Weitzel, and I'm on TikTok. You can just Google me, find me on TikTok. I do have my own publication called The Memo on Substack that I write, and I do write for Awake Illinois. I do a monthly op-ed piece. It's called Chief Weitzel's Dispatch. They can go to Awake Illinois' website, and they can find me there. It's just stuff that is common sense things that we need to do. And one thing I'm going to be tackling in the very near future is I'm going to be part of a group that is going to make recommendations to the governor and his staff on changes for the SAFETY Act.
Yeah, that we definitely need that. One more final question. Is ICE, Border Patrol, are they law enforcement?
I'm glad you asked. Of course they are. There's this narrative being pushed by all the anti-ICE and Border Patrol that they are not law enforcement. And to be clear, what they're saying is they're not local law enforcement. You're right. They're federal law enforcement. They have full arrest powers. They operate as law enforcement, have the same, if not better, training at times. Yes, John, they are law enforcement officers.
Okay, I lied. That wasn't the final question because I saw something that you posted about the Cook County State's Attorney looking to bring charges against ICE agents. We know it. You and I both know that has been tried. But if they're acting in their official capacity and something happens, there's sort of a protection there, correct? And this has been tried before. Do you think this? She does it? Will she do it? And do you think a conviction would happen?
No, it's completely political. I do think her memorandum or her policy to her staff is well written and actually is on point, but they have no authority to do that. They have no authority to arrest federal agents, period. Right. It could be the FBI, the Secret Service, it could be U.S. Marshals. They do not have authority. They can collect information and get statements if they wanted to, and they could turn it over to the United States Attorney's Office. Yeah. But they themselves do not have the authority to prosecute federal law enforcement officers.
Well, I think there needs to be a bandying about of police unions throughout this state to come together and make a collective call to say that all of this nonsense about us not assisting ICE, and not that we're going out on raids with them trying to pick people up, but the what assistance is needs to be defined across this country. Specifically where there are sanctuary state laws and city laws and county laws, in my opinion, Chief.
Yeah, our unions and leadership needs to think about protecting who they're serving. And, it seems like it only makes it different when it affects you personally. But, when you're in a police leadership position, your job is beyond you. And it's even beyond your immediate department members. It's the community that you serve. So remember that. I mean, history is going to show that we're right. And I mean that. Yeah. It's going to show that we're correct, that these narrative out there that is so anti-federal government policing and local policing is not the right side to be on.
Yeah, and you and I both know that there are bad policing out there. I've called bad policing out. I know you probably have had your fair share of having to fire some that some would call bad apples. So as it relates to bad policing, good cops hate bad police, correct?
Without a doubt, good cops hate bad cops, and you're right. Do your job. If you're the leader, if you got to terminate somebody for cause, and they did something that's egregious, absolutely, that's the way to build credibility. But not politically motivated assassinations against police officers' careers.
And that has happened time and time again. I don't know where you stand, but I still, to this day, and I don't care what anybody says, Chauvin did not kill George Floyd. Was he a part of it, contributed to it? Maybe, but he did not kill George Floyd. That's just my opinion. May not be the opinion of the chief, former chief of Riverside, but it's where I stand.
Yeah, but I stand with law enforcement, and I know that most of the citizens of Illinois, if not the United States, they do. They're just being drowned out, so it's time for that to change.
All right, he's the retired chief of police of Riverside, and he's a fellow of law enforcement with Awake, Illinois. My girl, Shannon Adcock. Chief Weitzel, thanks so much for joining us on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me, John. Have a great morning.
You too. We'll be right back.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, hoping you'll join me on the unforgettable Gulf of America cruise happening in November of 2026. Imagine this: turquoise waters, white sand beaches, incredible food, insightful conversations about the future of America. Scott Jennings and I will be your hosts. We'll dive into the issues shaping America as we cruise through some of the most stunning destinations while honoring the 250th anniversary of our nation. Book your cabin today. Text the word cruise to 94878. Text cruise to 94878 or visit MikeOnline.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer. News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Will get a deal with Iran one way or the other. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This is what President Trump tells reporters, giving Iran 10 to 15 days to agree to a nuclear deal. He was asked if he'll wipe out their nuclear program with a military strike.
I'm not going to talk to you about that, but we're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
The Wall Street Journal reports the president's considering a limited strike to force Iran to make concessions, and Iran may be getting ready.
In the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian state television aired footage of a joint Iran-Russia live-fire naval drill, which included vessel raids and ship seizures. Iran also sent a notice to airmen not to fly over Iranian airspace during the drills, which could include cruise missiles, which could target U.S. bases in the Gulf.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. President Trump went to Georgia, saying he has solved the affordability crisis. Democrats blame on him. And while they say the American people are paying the cost of his tariffs, he touts them making our economy stronger.
Without tariffs, what would you do? You know what? Everybody would be bankrupt. Everybody. The whole country would be bankrupt.
This hour, we'll get new reports on the economy and inflation and growth in the last quarter last year. The president also made news, posting on Truth Social. He's directing the government to release files related to aliens and UFOs. Days after former President Obama said on a podcast, aliens are real.
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Speaking with reporters aboard Air Force One, President Trump did not say if he has seen evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials.
No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
In the podcast interview, former President Obama added he's not seen alien life and dismissed the notion of some secret underground facility.
Fox's Jared Halburn. Another avalanche has been deadly. An 11-year-old girl in Utah buried and killed while skiing off trail. Days after an avalanche near Lake Tahoe killed 8 skiers, another still missing, presumed dead. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 33 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker says he was surprised when the Chicago Bears stated that they have a vision for a world-class stadium in Hammond, Indiana. Jim Talamonte reports.
The Bears released a statement saying they were committed to the remaining due diligence necessary to support their stadium vision near Wolf Lake. Governor J.B. Pritzker said he was disappointed after his team met with the Bears on Wednesday.
We completed more than 3 hours, my team did, of discussions with the Bears. Very positive discussions, and indeed mostly agreed on a bill.
Also Thursday, the Indiana House Ways and Means Committee passed legislation to establish a stadium authority. Indiana House Speaker Todd Houston sponsored Senate Bill 27.
The new stadium will be a catalyst for growth across the entire Northwest Indiana corridor, bringing jobs, new tax revenue, and new businesses.
Houston said both the Bears and the state would be making significant investments. I'm Chip Talamonte.
The Illinois Commerce Commission has approved the Illinois Power Agency's 2026 plan to guide new renewable energy purchases over the next 2 years. The plan supports investment in utility-scale and community solar, large wind projects, hydropower, and other renewable sources. According to a report released in December by the Power Agency, the Commerce Commission and the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency warned that Illinois could face an energy shortage within 4 years if it stays on its current path. And the Chicago Loop Alliance president, Michael Edwards, says change can be a good thing as a new vision for downtown Chicago takes shape following post-COVID challenges. New data shows retail vacancies in the Loop declined in 2025 for the second straight year, offering fresh optimism for the area's recovery. News is a service of American Beam and Steel, structural repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online to schedule your consultation directly with owner Mark. American Beam and Steel. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Alex Marlow sees momentum.
This is a day where we have got, I think, the left and the media on the run completely. The data seem to suggest that America's coming back. We have fewer border crossers than ever. We've got a lower murder rate. We've got a huge projected growth in the economy coming up this year. And we're seeing stuff like a plan to lower prescription drug prices, trying to get California back on track.
The Alex Marlow Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
There's one thing I really want to say to Donald Trump. If you come for my people, you come through me.
That was Pritzker's challenge to President Trump. But who are Pritzker's people? They're the more than 1,700 illegal alien predators he helped escape from ICE. They're the illegal aliens whose health care, rent, and college tuition you pay for. You can't afford to stay because Pritzker makes you pay for his people. Well, I have a message for you, Governor. I'll be coming for you and going through you. Your days and the days of sanctuary living for your people are over. I'm Ted Dabrowski, your conservative candidate for governor, and I'm asking for your vote in the Republican primary on March 17th. Paid for by Ted for Illinois.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
To commemorate President's Day, Hassellus Mattress is offering our fellow Americans Washington Monument-size savings on Beautyrest. Our employee-free showrooms are filled with Beautyrest mattresses vying for your vote. Through February 22nd, get a Queen Beautyrest Premium World Class Thatcher KA mattress. Others sell it for $27.99, but Hassellus has it for $16.88. Plus, our Hassellus Mattress Stimulus Package also includes a $100 instant cash discount, a $100 MasterCard's cash card, a free adjustable base, free delivery and setup, free removal of your old mattress, and 24-month free financing with approved credit. I won't beat around the bush. You can't afford to miss out. Enjoy presidential savings on the select Beautyrest mattress that matches your comfort level, whether it's soft or hardy. Best of all, you'll feel more rested. No, really, it's true, man. Find a showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. 16 in, 15 out on the Edens from Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burnt Interchange is 27 minutes, 25 on the reverse side. You've got 24 in, 18 out on the Ike from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 35 in on the Stevenson. From Veterans Memorial to Lakeshore, it's 25 minutes on the outbound side and getting slow on the Dan Ryan inbound from 95th to the Burn Interchange, 23 minutes, outbound is 12. You're also stop and go on I-57 inbound between Halstead Street and the Dan Ryan, and the northbound side of Lakeshore Drive slows down between Bryn Mawr Avenue and Hollywood Avenue. This report is a service of Team Hochberg. They've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners with the best rates and service. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or call 855-563-2843. That's 56david.com, Atlantic Coast Mortgage Equal Housing Lender. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now the latest forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect low clouds and strong winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain this morning, leading to little to no accumulation. Later in the day, there will be a flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. Tomorrow, anticipate some sunshine with a high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Chicago. John Anthony filling in for Dan Proft, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. Hope if you guys haven't followed me on Black and White, please go and do so. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Rumble. I really would love to build out the Rumble social media site. I do know that YouTube restored my YouTube account, and I don't know what to do about myself, and I just continue to imagine where I would be if they hadn't shut it down in 2022 because of my opinions on George Floyd and COVID, where would that YouTube channel be today? I went 3 years without it, and it was really, really, really growing. I want to play an audio clip. I know Larry Elder dealt with this last night on his show. I was listening as I was driving in this morning, and Whoopi Goldberg was this happened on The View. And if you know me, you know I really do hate playing anything from The View because I think it's a waste of hot air on that show. But she made a bunch of claims about President Trump and why he's racist to Savannah Chrisley. I know Savannah Chrisley. I've had many conversations with her. Last time I was in D.C. at the White House, I believe I was at the White House Black History Month last year. I was sitting with her and her group and a couple of other people, and we were discussing, what was happening in the country and things of that nature. Because President Trump had just won his second term. And I want you to listen to what Whoopi Goldberg had to say to Savannah. And I know who Savannah is talking about, her best friend. The person that she's talking about, I'll tell you who it is after you hear this audio. Uh-oh.
When it comes to the event that happened yesterday, what's so hard for me to witness is people stating that the president is a racist, because I've seen him firsthand. He saved one of my best friend's lives, a black woman who has been with him for 18 years. So he has a black friend. He's a racist. No, he saved her life. No, he did.
Okay. He's a racist. Here's the problem, Savannah, and why we have a different take on it. Many of us have a different take on it, because when you target DEI programs with executive office, from your with executive orders, your first week in office, arguing that the policies undermine national unity. When you shared racist posts about the Obamas, when you pursued the death penalty for the exonerated five, after you knew they had been exonerated. These are the reasons that his behavior is so hard. And I don't know whether you know about this, but in the 70s, he was accused of discriminating against black tenants because he wouldn't rent to them. He didn't want them to build.
Was that an accusation?
No, that was a proven fact. They took him to court. The
lawsuit was settled with the Justice Department.
But I guess my point is, when someone goes out of their way to talk poorly about immigrants, not the immigrants, because nobody wants immigrants in the country who are killing people and doing terrible things, but the people who are not. The children who are not, the innocents, there seems to be no ability in his mind to distinguish between black people and his idea of what DEI is. And when you really look up and see who this was for, who benefited from DEI, it was not black folks. We got the vote in the 60s. So my question is, well, what was going on before that? What about, where was all of the things that you say were removed? Did people not have jobs? Did the people, if you couldn't go to school, didn't you?
Wait a minute. So then who benefited from it, Whoopi? Because you talk to most black people. Now, I actually had I was talking to somebody who's in DEI, and they don't like Trump because it took away their bread and butter. This person was making $175,000 a year, and when Trump did a lot of these things, it took away her livelihood. So I get why she's doing it. But this whole lawsuit, you notice what she left out about the Trump lawsuit? It wasn't just against Trump. It was against a group of people who were renting. And President Trump never did it. There was no admission of guilt in this lawsuit, but she left that out. The Exonerated Five, I actually did a whole thing on the Exonerated Five when that movie came out. That Netflix series came out. It's on Black and Right. You can go find it somewhere. Go download the podcast, and you can find it. But did they forget that the lead investigator on that Exonerated Five, did they forget that it was a black man? The mayor was a black man? Did they forget that all these people thought these kids were guilty at the time? But she conveniently leaves that out. So why leave that all out? Because she wants people to think, who cares? I get it. OJ was exonerated. OJ was exonerated because he had a hell of a good lawyer. and Johnny Cochran, who, remember, the burden of proof wasn't on OJ. It was on the prosecution. That's why Nancy Wolf. That's why OJ was released. And then Johnny Cochran was able to sow doubt. And that's the reason why OJ. I think OJ did it? Probably not. But did he have something to do with it? Probably, allegedly. That's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are also saying that it was somebody within his family that did it as well. I don't know. I really don't know if it was him. But who Savannah Chrisley is talking about is Lynn Patton. Lynn Patton has a huge role in this Trump administration. I've interviewed her. I brought her on when Amy and I was doing this show to bring Lynn Patton. Lynn Patton, and Trump and Eric Trump did save her life. She said that she got addicted to drugs. She thought that they were going to get rid of her. They took her in like family. She's been with them 18, 19 years old in Trump Inc. and everything. And now she sits, anytime you go to the White House, guess who's coming in and out of that door to the Oval Office? Lynn Patton. Lynn Patton, you want to know who's behind a lot of what you see, what you saw 2 days ago in the White House? Lynn Patton. You know who got together all of the blacks for Trump to bring us all together? Lynn Patton had a role in that. So for all these people that say that Trump doesn't have black people in his sphere of influence, Lynn Patton can pick up the phone, can go right into the Oval Office and talk to President Trump anytime she wants. So tell me how that isn't power. Please explain how that isn't power. She's able to speak truth. You know, that whole saying, speaking truth to power. She's done that. She's done that. And I'm happy to call Lynn Patton a friend. I can pick up the phone and call her at any given time. You know, and for Whoopi to remember, Whoopi loved President Trump at one point in time. I mean, they all loved him until he decided to say that he was a Republican. Until he decided to say that he wanted to bring this country back and make America great again. Did I put that? I don't know if I did it or not. If I put that Joy Reid audio in here, Justin, I thought I brought a Joy Reid audio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. I had an audio with Joy Reid. Oh, there it is. I see it. Joy Reid she thought she was cooking on this. Oh, I just deleted it again. Sorry.
If you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes. There were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back.
What's wrong with that world? I commented under her because she posted this on Instagram, and I commented on what's wrong with that world. What's wrong with that world where you make all of the money that you possibly can, that you can leave all of the money that you have without it being penalized for your kids? What's wrong with living in that world? I want to go back to that world where I get to dictate the tax I spend. What? Please, if you think something is wrong with that world where you become the arbiter of where your tax money goes, what's wrong with that? Who wouldn't want more of their money? Because we realize, especially states like Illinois, they don't know what to do with your money because they're spending your money on all this foolishness. How many billions or how much was spent on the illegal immigrants this past fiscal year or the previous fiscal years for illegal immigrants here in the state of Illinois, specifically in the city of Chicago? You think they understand and know what to do best with your money? I don't think so. They simply don't understand what to do with your money. And yet we're supposed to trust this government? Look at 50. I was trying to get Stephanie Trussell on to interview her as for her race as state representative. But who's holding these people in check for spending your money? And the sales tax rates, how they vary depending on where you go in this state. I believe in one part of Cook County, is it 10.5%, the special taxing place? 10.5%, 11%. I thought it was 11% at one point, sales tax. You think that's okay? That they're able to take that much money, much of your money, and you just sit back and shut up and sit baby in a corner and you're supposed to be quiet about it? That's not how this works. You know, yesterday, somebody in the comments, in the YouTube comments, they talked about how Nick Shirley and what he was doing in California and what he's doing in Minnesota was fake and it was a farce. Yeah, what about this?
All right, so let's say his name's Virginia. She's 125 years old. She's voted over 55 times, and she's active on the voter rolls here in California. Let's see if she's home. Hi, how's it going, sir? Doing good?
No, I'm cooking.
Oh, okay, well, I'll be quick. I'm just looking for Virginia, 125 years old.
125 years old?
Yeah, she's registered to vote at this location right here. Is Virginia here?
Yeah, but she ain't no 125 years old.
Really? How old is Virginia then?
80.
80? Well, here on the state of California, she's 125 years old, and she's voted in 55 elections.
Nope.
Is there another Virginia?
No, not here.
Virginia?
10-4. There's only one in the whole world.
Only one in the whole world? Well, I hope she's voting good, so she's not 125?
No.
No. Well, is Virginia doing good at least?
So. Well, she's a year younger than me, and I'm 82.
Say, go tell Newsom she ain't 125, she's 81.
Okay.
Awesome, you do that. Have a good one.
Do you see what the problem is? Every location we went to inside this video, there's something wrong with the voter rolls. Whether or not the person's 125 years old, it actually doesn't matter. The part that matters is that the information is wrong on the person who's supposed to be voting here inside the United States. And the other locations, people aren't supposed to be living inside of P.O. boxes, yet they are registering to vote out of P.O. boxes, making it impossible to track back who that person is, to see who actually cast that vote. This leads to lots of fraud, and everyone should be concerned about the integrity of our elections when people cannot show their own ID when they show up to vote.
And I'm going to tell you, this happens across this country, guys. I don't get people. Maurice Gaston actually sent me a message about this yesterday. I mean, a day before, I think it was yesterday, about nobody can vote for you. That's a lie. That's simply a lie. All you got to do is send in mail-in ballots, and somebody sits and takes the ballot harvest and vote for you. So to say that somebody can't vote for you, yes, they can. It's simple as that. They do it all the freaking time. You know, I know. Well, I guess I probably shouldn't bring him up since that. But there was a documentary done, and they were using GPS data based upon your phone. That's real. FBI uses that, but they took this out. They took this documentary down because there was some other things in there that that's I guess somebody sued and got it out. Because I'm telling you, if we don't get this voting integrity issue down, we're gonna lose this republic. You notice I didn't say democracy because I believe in death to democracy. I believe in if we don't restore this constitutional republic that this country was founded upon, if we don't restore it, I believe what Reagan said. We'll be telling our kids, because I really do believe we are that one generation away. We are that generation away where we'll be telling our kids what it was once like to be free here in this United States of America. And that's just the reality of it. And I know a lot of people want to say, well, I'm done. I'm done fight. I don't want to fight. I don't want to vote. Why not? Why not? The reason why we're not already effed. We're not. But that's what the system wants you to believe. They want to tire you down to the point where you withdraw from the system. You know how you inundate this thing. I think it was Hugh Hewitt who said if it's not close, they can't cheat. They couldn't cheat this last election because it was overwhelming. 77 million people, just like in 2020, 74 million people voted. President Trump won 2020. I don't give a crap what anybody says. He won that election. He simply won that election. So this whole thing that we're already messed up, we're screwed. No, that's what they want you to think and to believe. I mean, why even run any Republicans if that's the case? Why run Republicans if that's the case? How do we fix this issue? How do we win this thing? Because I believe we can. But as Caroline Levitt, we need people with backbone.
John.
Thank you, Caroline. You mentioned two things: DHS closed and the SAVE Act IDs. Both of these could get solved in 15 minutes if Senate Leader John Thune simply got rid of this phony 60-vote cloture rule and got 51 votes, and that would be the end of it, because everyone in this room knows if the Democrats take over, they'll get rid of that rule in 90 minutes. They already tried it one time in the two Democratic senators that stopped it are no longer there, Manchin and Sinema. President Trump is backing a lot of these senators for re-election, and yet they will not get rid of the 60-vote cloture rule, which is holding everything up. What is the president's position on John Thune in the Senate finally getting rid of this so this legislation can get moved?
Well, the president has a good relationship with Senate Majority Leader John Thune. They keep in very close contact, and they work together all of the time. I hear your passion in your voice, and I know it's shared by many Americans across the country, including the president himself. He wants to see the SAVE Act voted, and he's expressed that both publicly to all of you, the American people, but also privately in his conversations with Senate Majority Leader Thune and many other members of Congress as well. Yes, Rav, go ahead. Good to see you.
So J.B. Pritzker just recently signed the bill. The law went into effect in January.
You know what? My thing is, do it. Do it. Because guess what? The Democrats were going to do it. I've said this on Black and White Radio many a times. The Democrats, if it wasn't for Senator Sinema and Senator Joe Manchin, and I believe it was Fetterman as well, if it wasn't for those three, the Democrats would have 15 Supreme Court justices on the bench by now. Why not? The problem is President Trump does not have the army. He doesn't have the soldiers willing to do what it takes. Because John Thune, this is why I didn't want John Thune. This is why I wanted Rick Scott from Florida. But guess, you know, I know he gets a bad rap, and Tom from Blue Island always corrects me. If it wasn't for Mitch McConnell, President Trump wouldn't have gotten 3 Supreme Court justices on the bench, and he wouldn't have fielded over 250 judges, and he's right about it. But now Mitch McConnell saying he's going to vote against the SAVE Act. We just don't have the soldiers. Lee from Hammond.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on passion on what it needs to be done. Otherwise, we're going to lose this republic. The problem is in that Republican Party. You nailed it. 3/4 of those politicians in the Republican Party are not on board with this. I don't know what they're thinking. They're just lining their pockets, or they don't care. But it's Donald Trump and a few others carrying the ball on this. We got a senator here in Indiana that's sort of on the fence. Although both of them are Republicans, and sometimes I even wonder what our governor's up to. Another Republican. So it's like herding the cats in that Republican Party. If they don't all get on board and don't all have a mandate, it's like in the military. Everybody's got to be devoted to the cause, and I don't see it in the Republican Party.
Yeah. Hey, Lee, what's the latest on Indiana? Are they going to revive trying to redo the maps there? Is that dead in the water now?
Redo the what now?
You know, Indiana declined to redo their maps because
the maps. As far as I'm concerned, that the redistricting's done. They couldn't get enough Republicans downstate to carry that through. Again, everybody knows the Democrats been gerrymandering for decades, and yet when the Republicans, it's like they want to fight by the markers of Queensbury with a guy that's got a knife. It's like, I don't know what you do, but that's just the way it is.
Well, I'll tell you this, Lee. President Trump destroyed that old Republican playbook, and it just amazes me that when you look across the country, that Republicans are picking up and dusting off the playbook that President Trump threw out the window. It just simply doesn't work. It's a playbook of old that we're not we were fighting against civil-minded Democrats at that time. That's not who we're fighting against this time. We're fighting against very radical people.
No, you're fighting against Marxists.
Yes,
and everybody knows the history of Marxism. They take no prisoners, and they don't stop until you stop them.
That's true.
I don't understand what's wrong with these Republicans. They cannot see that, or what is their problem?
Well,
I don't get it.
It's two birds of the same feather, or two. That's what it is, Lee. Thank you. We got to go to break. We'll be right back.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we talked to John Henraker. It's going to be a doozy, a great conversation. I love having conversations with John. He's so succinct and he brings out just great information. And don't miss this interview with John Henraker. Now into the newsroom with Stacey King.
Good morning. It is 33 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the QC Kinetics newsroom. The Liberty Justice Center has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Illinois Supreme Court justices for what the LCJ says was the unconstitutional removal of Judge James R. Brown. The retired judge was recalled to Cook County Circuit Court in December of last year to help fill judicial vacancies. Brown was removed 6 weeks later after the Cook County Bar Association and the Chicago Council of Lawyers objected to an opinion column and podcast appearance by Brown before he returned to the bench. The lawsuit seeks to restore Brown to his recall position and to obtain damages for economic and reputational harm. And Chicago police are investigating another random punching incident. The victim says the assault happened while she was walking to work. The 27-year-old victim says she's heard of incidents like this happening in the Loop before and says she's hopeful that police will be putting measures into place that will prevent other women from being harmed. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Well, think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt isn't sure the president has a choice.
Because I don't think the Iranians will capitulate. I mean, they could run. They could give up the missiles. I don't believe President Trump is going to get taken by these people. I think they flooded the zone, they being the Pentagon, with all the weapons of war to absolutely crush the regime. I don't think the president has a choice.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Did you know a will alone does not keep your family out of court when you die? The court still has to approve your will, but get a living trust, and your estate can be settled clearly without issue. Talk to the attorneys at Naumann & Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee, no surprises, no hourly rate. With decades of experience, they know the law and offer a free consultation. Contact Naumann & Associates in Elk Grove Village, nalawgroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
Salem Surround. Is your business hard to find online? Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com. File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then they help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. We're looking at 16 minutes both ways on the Edens from Lake Cook to Montrose. Stop and go on the Kennedy inbound from Cumberland Avenue to Harlem Avenue. Outbound, you've got delays between the Tri-State and Manheim Road. It's 30 minutes both ways from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange. 28 minutes in, 18 out on the Ike from Wolf to the old post office. You've got 31 minutes inbound on the Stevenson from Veterans Memorial to Lakeshore. 24 on the reverse side. The Dan Ryan is 24 minutes inbound from 95th to the Burn Interchange. Outbound is 12. On the Bishop Ford inbound, you've got delays as you approach the Dan Ryan, and Stop and Go northbound on Lakeshore Drive from Bryn Mawr Avenue to Hollywood Avenue. This report is a service of Blindster.com. Kyle Cox started Blindster in his garage back in 2010. Since then, they've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Their blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now the latest forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect low clouds with gusty winds exceeding 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain in the morning, leading to minimal accumulation. Later in the day, anticipate a light flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
We're on the list because we were at a party or a wedding or something that somebody might have been. That's what I found out anyway.
Yeah, no,
I was at Trump's wedding to Marla.
Right.
Maybe Epstein was there too. Who knows?
I don't know.
So that means that I'm not guilty, obviously, but these other ones, how are you going to decide who's really guilty and who's not?
I think
very tricky.
I think it's very clear because if you look, you know why my name is there. Because someone was looking for a plane, and that's what people do. They go to all the people who have private planes and say, do you have one?
And you didn't get on the plane.
I didn't get on the plane. I didn't know they were looking for a plane.
Yeah.
I had no idea that the plane that I was supposed to be on was no longer available.
I think that's Whoopi Goldberg and The View talking about this Epstein list. And I think that was the distraction I believe President Trump was talking about. But a lot of people tried to take that he was saying the distraction is the victims of Epstein and the monstrous things that he did. That was not the distraction that President Trump was talking about. And that's why I wanted to have our next guest on, because in my opinion, there are a lot of commentators who chase these headlines, and then there are thinkers who look underneath the headline and explain the world as it really is. John Hinderaker has been that kind of voice for decades. Whether he's pulling apart another disastrous green energy claim, he's exposing the truth about crime trends, he unpacking China's global strategy, or challenging political media on the narratives they recycle every day. He has been relentless in pushing for clarity, honesty, and real policy solutions. His writing on Powerline is unapologetic, sharp, evidence-based, and rooted in a belief that America works best when it is led with common sense, accountability, and the courage to challenge fashionable but destructive ideas. Minnesota knows him as a leader of the American experiment, but across the country, he's known as the kind of thinker who forces you to see behind the story. John, welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer.
John, that was a great introduction. I appreciate it. Great to be with you.
Well, it wasn't better than the one I gave you on Detroit's Morning Answer, though.
You're right about that.
Now you heard The View. You heard the ladies on The View. I mean, this was what President Trump was talking about when he was calling distraction. Innocent people are going to get caught up in this Epstein files release. Is this what he was basically trying to lay out to the American public?
John, you bet it is. There is a reason why you don't normally release just raw investigation files from criminal archives, right? Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff in those investigative files. There's hearsay, there's irrelevant bits of information, and there are outright lies. You know, people lie to law enforcement all the time, and it's easy for innocent people to get hurt. I think we've seen that in this case, where like half the world, billions of people now know that Bill Gates supposedly caught a sexually transmitted disease. And, of course, he denies that vehemently. What's the source? The source is Jeffrey Epstein writing an email. So is Epstein a reliable source now? I don't think so. But beyond the fact that I think it's likely untrue, what business is it of ours? You know, there's no reason why people should be obsessing on this stuff. And I think the greatest example of that, John, is the list, the famous list, right? Yeah. The Epstein Files Transparency Act has a provision that says that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, has got to release a list of all of the public officials and prominent people. There's actually a definition of what they mean by that in the law, who are mentioned who are mentioned by name in these investigative files. And so she's done that. And the list is just, it's actually kind of comical. For one thing, Pam Bondi herself is on the list.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Pam Bondi. But let me just, if I may, tick off some of the names that have now been officially released by the Attorney General. Beyonce and Cher are on the list. George W. Bush and Bill Clinton are on the list. Fidel Castro is on the list. George Clooney, the actor. Kamala Harris. Mick Jagger, Tucker Carlson, Michelle Obama is on the list, and Elvis Presley is on the list. Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and George Soros are all on the list. And my favorite, John, Pope John Paul II is on the list. And so, what that means is the list is just completely meaningless. The fact that somebody's name got mentioned somewhere in these millions of pages of emails, completely meaningless. And I think President Trump is right. I think this whole Epstein thing is a distraction. And for 4 years under Joe Biden, we never heard anything about the so-called Epstein files. And now once Donald Trump becomes president, the Democrats all of a sudden are determined, you got to publish the Epstein files. And I really think it is time to move on.
There's a rumor that you're able to track to see who has looked at these files prior to this Transparency Act. Now, if that's true, I would love to know who has accessed these files prior to, even when President Trump was running in 2016, 2020, and even again the 2024. If that's true, wouldn't that list be interesting to see who actually has accessed these files? Because they comb through it to see if they can find some dirt on Trump. And if that's so, why not produce that list?
Yeah, that's super interesting. If there had been evidence, the reason that people got obsessed with Epstein was this idea that there was this pedophile ring, right? That all these world leaders and celebrities are all secretly pedophiles. And there's none of that. There's none of that in these files. I mean, Prince Andrew, or the degenerate formerly known as Prince, as I like to refer to him, So he's now been charged with misconduct in public office. And apparently the misconduct is sharing confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, of course, that's not what people had in mind when they said we got to see the files, right? They are looking for this famous pedophile ring, which, as far as we could tell, just doesn't exist. It didn't exist. Yeah. But I agree with you. I don't know if it's possible to see who's been accessing the files. You wouldn't see the names of who's accessed the files, but you might be able to see. I don't know if there's technology that would let you see, information about the computers. And it may well be, I wouldn't be at all surprised if years ago, Democratic Party operatives or the FBI, when it was controlled by the Democrats, or whoever, went trolling through these files looking to see if they could find dirt on Donald Trump. And of course, if they did, they didn't find it because it's not there.
Now, when as I looked at this and I went through some of the Epstein files, here's what I saw. A lot of the files that mentioned President Trump was 2016 on. And we know that it's been reported that President Trump basically narked on Jeffrey Epstein. As I continued to read through this, it appeared to me that Epstein was doing everything he can, not only to mention Trump, but to get Trump. Is that what most of the American people are starting to find out?
Well, I hope so, John, because you're absolutely right. Epstein hated Trump. Yeah. And I think the original reason he hated Trump is because Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, wouldn't allow him to come to Mar-a-Lago as a guest. And I think that's the original reason why Epstein hated Trump. We know that when Michael Cohen, remember Michael Cohen, the anti-Trump activist, former Trump lawyer, was testifying before a congressional committee, Jeffrey Epstein was texting with one of the Democratic members of that committee, advising her on how to question Michael Cohen so as to get Donald Trump.
Yeah, Representative Plaskett, right? Stacey Plaskett.
Yeah, he hated Donald Trump, and you see that reflected in these files. But again, who cares? I mean, this whole thing is such a distraction from really important news going on. Like, for example, what's happening in Iran.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's not a distraction because you never let a good crisis go to waste, because this distraction is intended to bogged down President Trump. And that's why I was glad to hear that Susie Wiles, his chief of staff, and others and cabinet members were getting together to figure out how to put Trump on that ballot and come the midterms, because I believe this is all about the midterms, even Iran.
Well, you may be right about Iran, but you're definitely right about the so-called Epstein files. I mean, everything Democrats are doing is geared toward taking the House back and possibly the Senate in the midterm elections. That is the only thing they care about. Because if they take the House, Congress won't do anything during the last 2 years of Trump's term, and they'll impeach Trump, and it'll just be another circus.
And they'll create bills that would end the whole tariff aspect of everything. But speaking of Iran, do you think President Trump's going to put boots to the ground in Iran?
I don't think so, John. I mean, he's serious about not wanting to get the U.S. into wars. He's not afraid to bomb somebody, if he thinks they'll do some good. I don't see any indication of boots on the ground. And my concern, John, to be honest, is that I don't think that historically there's a lot of support for the idea that you can oust a government, bring about regime change through bombing. Our only goal in Iran, in my opinion, I'm not interested in a new agreement, a deal with the mullahs. I mean, I think a deal with the mullahs is meaningless. We've seen that in the past. I want a new government in Iran. I want the mullahs gone. But unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong, unfortunately, I don't think that bombing is going to bring that about.
Yeah, but I mean, we clearly see a big difference when was it called the Arab Spring when Barack Obama was president, and compared to what President Trump is doing, he's saber rattling, whereas Barack Obama just allowed the people to get killed, and they're getting killed today too. I've seen some of the live feeds. Telegram is one of the greatest places to get information, and I've seen some of the live feeds, and it's barbaric and just cruel what they're doing to the people of Iran, and I really do hope that we do something about it.
Well, I hope so, too. I agree with you. Thousands and thousands of people have been gunned down in the streets and in hospitals. They go out hospitals shooting people. Trump has said, hold on, help is on the way, and I hope it's true. I would love to see this regime in Iran finally brought down.
Yeah. As it relates to your article, Miss Teen Cocktail Waitress, you talk about following in the footsteps of Kamala Harris as it relates to her word salads. What drove you to write this article about AOC? It's funny. It's so funny.
Oh, gosh, it's funny. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went to that Munich security conference, and this was her big foray into world politics, world affairs, and she gave press conferences there, and she got to ask questions about things like Taiwan and Venezuela. And she made Kamala Harris look like an astute intellectual. I mean, she was terrible. And somebody who reads my website, Powerline, called me on the phone. He said, what you should do? You should find that old video of Miss Teen South Carolina back in 2007 or whatever that was, who goes off. It went viral and became famous, and intercut it with AOC in Munich, because it's hard to say which of the two was a worse word salad. Was it the 16-year-old Miss Teen USA contestant, or was it the would-be president of the United States, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? And I found that a couple of other people had already done that. I put one of those videos up online, and it's pretty funny because, that's exactly what AOC sounds like.
Do you think she's going to challenge Chuck Schumer in the Senate? I think if she does, she wins.
I agree with you. Chuck Schumer, the thing about the Democratic Party is the press always wants to talk about the radical fringe, which is people like Ilhan Omar from my state of Minnesota, AOC, et cetera, versus the moderate Dems like Chuck Schumer. Well, the truth is there aren't any moderate Dems. They all vote the same. There's no real difference among these people. But I think that Democratic primary voters these days are so far to the left. I agree with you. I think if AOC runs in a Senate primary against Chuck Schumer, she probably wins. No, I don't know that she's going to do that. But
he's shivering. You look at a lot of the decisions he's been making. It's almost as if he knows AOC is just fuming and just blowing her hot breath over his shoulder. And when you look at his decision, I mean, look at what's happening with everybody in Congress knows that ICE is funded, and yet they still want to shut down. What is it? The Coast Guard and and
the Department
FEMA.
of Homeland Security there shut down the whole thing. Yeah. Well, we've seen that here in Minnesota. You'd think that there would be some mainstream Democrats who would be on the side of law enforcement and not on the side of law breaking. But it's not true. There's not a single Democrat in my state, Minnesota, who has in any way stood up for the enforcement of federal immigration law. They are all on the side of the lawbreakers, even when the lawbreakers are murderers and child rapists and so forth. It's really unbelievable.
John, Tom Homan, I played an audio clip from Tom Homan yesterday where he said they recovered over 3,000 children in the state of Minnesota. Now, imagine how much more they could have done had the governor and the mayor of Minneapolis worked with them. I mean, are the people of Minnesota fed up yet? And is Amy, the senator going to win this governor's race?
Well, it's interesting you ask me that, John, because my organization does polling for our quarterly magazine, Thinking Minnesota. We got our poll results back just yesterday, and we asked a bunch of questions about immigration. Now, I'll just toss out one example. We asked, do you think that public officials in Minnesota, like Governor Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey, calmed the situation here with ICE, inflamed the situation, or had no effect? 25% said that they calmed the situation, which of course is ridiculous. They didn't try to do that. 50% said they inflamed the situation, and 25% said that they didn't make any difference. So a clear plurality, 50% of Minnesotans fault these Democratic Party officials for making that situation worse instead of better. I hope that people are fed up. As for the governor's race, Tim Walz had announced for a third term when the fraud situation got completely out of hand. The National Democrats, they did a Joe Biden on him. They told him, sorry, Tim, but you're done. They yanked him out of the race. And they twisted Amy Klobuchar's arm to get her to leave the U.S. Senate, come back to Minnesota and run for governor. I think it's going to be a very, very close race. The Republicans have got 2 or 3 solid candidates for governor. They're going through a caucus process right now to find a nominee, but I think everybody should keep their eye on Minnesota in 2026 because we're going to have some very interesting races.
So are we going to have some indictments start rolling as it relates to the fraud and corruption that's happening, though?
We are. I mean, there's the Feeding Our Future fraud, which is about $500 million, is the one that's been in the news in Minnesota for the last 4 years. I mean, this is not new news. This has been going on for 4 years, but the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI have been investigating this much broader range of Medicaid programs, and the assistant U.S. attorney who is in charge of that investigation has publicly said that there's at least $9 billion in additional fraud that we haven't yet known about. And so the U.S. Attorney's Office is going to start dropping new fraud indictments sometime in the next, say, 90 days, 60 to 90 days. And that's why the National Democrats yanked Tim Walz out of the race. They figure there's no way he could win if every other day the news is about more indictments, guilty pleas, and so on leading up to the election.
John, I got to quickly get your take on Representative Fink as it relates to queer kids should have access to porn.
You mentioned the Paxton case, and the AGs in many states are very clear about that. They're almost jubilant about being able to use these laws to ban young people from accessing content that could be educational if they are queer. And you're a principal. You have LGBT students in your school. And we also know that they're not receiving sex education for queer kids. We know that prurient interest could be, for many people, the very existence of transgender kids. More and more people are saying there simply are no transgender kids.
I mean, she's advocating for allowing queer kids to, because there's a bill trying to get rid of it from the libraries, correct?
Yeah. Was that Lee Fink? I hadn't heard that clip. Yeah. Well, in case our listeners didn't realize it, that was allegedly a woman talking there. Okay.
Yeah, well, it was transgender. Yeah.
That's a member of the Minnesota legislature who's transgender, claiming to be a woman, Lee Fink. And the interesting thing here is that Lee Fink completely dominates Minnesota Democrats on these issues. She is the bellwether, or he, whatever you want to call Lee Fink, is the bellwether. And the DFL party just obediently follows behind whatever she says. It's just astonishing, the radicalism that we're seeing out of that party.
Well, John.
So yeah, porn in the schools, gay porn in the schools. They are explicitly in favor of it. Yeah. Put it in the school libraries.
John, we got to go, but I've said time and time again, I don't give a crap what adults do, but leave the kids alone completely as it relates to these type of issues. I will stand down on that. I will stand 10 toes down on that on any given moment. He's John Henraker, president of Center of the American Experiment and contributor to Powerline. Thanks so much for joining us on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Great to be with you, John.
We'll be right back.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's sound teaching from God's Word from Dr. David Jeremiah on Turning Point. Each weekday morning at 9:30 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
The economy slowed down at the end of last year. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and a report just out this morning. Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni details.
We came in at 1.4%. This is even below the range of expectations that we got for fourth quarter GDP.
That is down from 4.4% growth in the third quarter.
We had a 43-day government shutdown in this quarter. That is certainly going to be one of the issues here.
Now, ahead of the report, President Trump posted on Truth Social blaming the government shutdown on Democrats, that it cost the U.S. at least 2 percentage points of GDP growth. He also again called for lower interest rates, writing Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is the worst. The day after the president touted a stronger economy and lower inflation at a rally in Georgia.
You notice, what word have you not heard over the last 2 weeks? Affordability. Because I've won affordability.
Now, he also touted his tariffs. Democrats say, though, it's the American people paying the price for them. We got an inflation update about a half hour ago showing a slight increase in December, month to month, in what are called personal consumption expenditures. The annual inflation rate there went up 0.1% to 2.9%. The president is giving Iran a deadline to make a nuclear deal.
I would think that would be enough time, 10, 15 days, pretty much maximum.
President Trump on Air Force One again warning Iran if they don't agree, it'll be unfortunate for them. The president also made news in a Truth Social post on UFOs. Fox's Sean Langell.
He's directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and other relevant agencies to release files related to alien life, as well as unidentified aerial phenomena and unidentified flying objects. The president accused Obama of revealing classified information by suggesting aliens were real, but when asked aboard Air Force One if he's a believer.
No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never.
America's listening to Fox News.
WIND, Chicago.
Good morning. It's 33 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Little Village council members plan to enter the FBI building today in order to deliver a letter requesting a formal investigation into the death of a man shot and killed by ICE agents last fall. Officials with Homeland Security say 38-year-old Silveira Villegas Gonzalez was an illegal immigrant who resisted arrest and drove his vehicle into ICE agents prior to being shot by ICE officers. Community leaders say they plan to hold peaceful protests each Friday until the FBI agrees to meet with them, their ultimate goal being accountability. The Chicago lawyer accused of killing his wife has pleaded not guilty to the charges. 47-year-old Adam Beckerink appeared in court where he's facing charges of throwing his wife, Caitlin Tracy, over the 24th floor railing of a Chicago high-rise condo. In addition to murder charges, Beckerink pleaded not guilty to new charges of concealment of homicidal death, making a false report to 911, and making a false report to a public safety agency. And an announcement by the Chicago Bears regarding a world-class stadium being built in Hammond, Indiana, has caught Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker by surprise. Jim Talamonte reports.
The Bears released a statement saying they were committed to the remaining due diligence necessary to support their stadium vision near Wolf Lake. Governor J.B. Pritzker said he was disappointed after his team met with the Bears on Wednesday.
We completed more than 3 hours, my team did, of discussions with the Bears. Very positive discussions, and indeed mostly agreed on a bill.
The Indiana House Ways and Means Committee passed legislation to establish a stadium authority. Indiana House Speaker Todd Houston sponsored Senate Bill 27.
The new stadium will be a catalyst for growth across the entire Northwest Indiana corridor.
I'm Jim Talamonte.
News is a service of American Beam and Steel, structural repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online to schedule your consultation directly with the owner, Mark. American Beam and Steel. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes, but time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Investment firm Blue Owl sold $1.4 billion in loans to pension and insurance investors. It's paying out individuals who bought into its funds and now want out. The move was supposed to calm concerns of investors. Instead, its stock is slumping. Blue Owl shares are down more than 5%. Online home buying company Open Door Technologies lost money in its recent quarter. However, it held up better than Wall Street was expecting, and it sees better conditions by the end of the year. Gold mining company Newmont's quarter was upbeat, helped by record gold prices. Starbucks wants you back in the afternoon. The Wall Street Journal says the company's CEO Brian Niccol is working to make Starbucks a credible all-day snack and beverage business. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosolda, invested in you.
Scott Jennings focuses on a real problem.
Over the past year, USCIS has made nearly 33,000 fraud referrals to law enforcement, a 138% increase over previous years.
Folks, if it wasn't obvious to you before, wake up. The illegal immigration crisis is real, and you are being robbed blind.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at noon, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
So when our parents were moving from the farm to town when they retired, all these old pieces had to go somewhere because they were getting a smaller place. So we each got some furniture.
Ben and Arvid Huth from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
There was one piece that still had our grandmother's name on it. It was the delivery ticket, basically. It was on the back of the piece, written with lead pencil. And instead of an address, it just said her name, Boyd, Wisconsin. That was the delivery address.
Then that's all you needed for an address.
Yeah.
That was the piece of furniture that all five of us kids wanted. You know, of all the furniture that had grandma's name on it.
Today, I tell people that ask me, like, okay, I bought this piece of heirloom furniture. Is there anything special I should do with it? Flip it over, turn it around, take a magic marker, and write on that thing your name, when you bought this, where you bought it from, why you bought it. That piece will be cherished in your family for centuries to come.
People want to be connected to their ancestors a little bit, and this is one way of doing that.
And the furniture we're building today, 300 years from now, somebody's going to be like, wow, that thing was well built for its time.
PennyMustard.com.
On Salem News Channel, principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering commentary puts politics and culture on trial. And Alex Marlowe's insight connects us to what matters most. Watch anytime on Samsung TV Plus, Pluto TV, or find us on your screen at snc.tv. 3 new shows, 1 powerful lineup. Salem News Channel, across America.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you're over 40 and plan to retire someday, the window to protect what you've built may be smaller than you realize. As retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you've built becomes just as important as growing it. And that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. They help investors reduce risk by adding gold and silver to their portfolios. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making investment decisions.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
Let me tell you, Chicago gets cold, very cold, and they love me in Chicago. The fake news isn't reporting it, but it's true. And you can't have your furnace fail in Chicago. That's no good.
That's when you should call Air Right Heating and Cooling.
The technicians, beautiful people. You're freezing, everybody's freezing. They show up fast, know what they're doing, and get the heat back on quickly.
Air Right Heating and Cooling offers 24/7 service throughout Chicagoland.
A broken furnace in Chicago is like living in Greenland. And believe me, I know Greenland. Very cold, lots of ice. These guys install the best furnaces. Frankly, it's not even close. Even Rosie O'Donnell would say I'm right, but she won't.
For fast, reliable heating service, trust Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and save $56 off any service.
Nobody's ever done anything like that. Unbelievable.
Visit them at air-right.com. That's AIR-RITE.com. Doing it right since 1959.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Eller. Stop and go delays right now on the northbound side of Lakeshore Drive from Bryn Mawr Avenue to Hollywood Avenue. You also have some slowdowns on the Bishop Ford inbound between 103rd and the Dan Ryan. The Dan Ryan, 30 minutes in from 95th to the Burn Interchange. Outbound is 12. The express lanes inbound slow down from 51st Street to the Stevenson. On the Stevenson, 38 minutes in, 29 out, and that's from Veterans Memorial to Lakeshore. You've got 36 in on the Ike, 21 minutes on the reverse side from Wolf to the Old Post Office. Really slow on that inbound side as you head towards Ogden Avenue. You're also stop and go on the inbound Kennedy from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 37 minutes. Outbound is 41, but the Edens is not too bad. 16 minutes on the inbound side. Outbound is 19 from Lake Cook to Montrose. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now the latest forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect low clouds and strong winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. It'll be significantly colder with occasional snow and rain this morning, leading to little to no accumulation. Later in the day, there will be a flurry. The high will reach 37 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 25. Tomorrow, anticipate some sunshine with a high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, filling in for Dan Proft. I'm the host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday right here on these airways and on the airways of Detroit, Michigan, 92.7 FM and at AM 1400, The Answer. You know, when I look at what Vice President J.D. Vance did last year and what Secretary of State Marco Rubio just did a week ago, as it relates to President Trump's administration foreign policy, I personally believe this foreign policy is winning the day right now. I really do. Because one of the things that I understand is that foreign policy has a way of exposing the truth about nations. It reveals what they fear, what they want, and what they will sacrifice to get it. I think we are watching this unfold in real time as the war between Russia and Ukraine enters its 5th year. Can you guys believe that? There are no clean victories left. The only thing that remains is painful choices that I believe demand clarity and honesty. Daniel DePetris has been one of the clearest voices cutting through that noise. I think he writes with realism that refuses to pretend that this endless war will somehow become a strategy. He is one of the few analysts willing to speak plainly about what is happening on the ground, what both sides have lost, and why the United States must decide whether it wants stability, escalation, or path to negotiated peace. He also warns in another article that Haiti is pulling the United States toward another slow-moving disaster. Not because America wants it, but because the situation has grown so unstable that foreign powers will feel pressure to act, even though every past intervention has ended in disappointment or deeper conflict. Dan does not sensationalize this, folks. He does not play the ideology. He calls things as they are. That is why he's here. Dan, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, John. Thanks for having me.
You know, you wrote that the war has reached a point where both Russia and Ukraine are suffering these enormous losses without any strategic breakthrough. What does Washington, in your estimation, refuse to admit about these structural limits of this conflict? And how does that refusal shape policy that no longer matches reality on the ground?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, the Trump administration obviously is very interested in negotiating some sort of peace between the two sides. This has been one of President Trump's top foreign policy priorities ever since he, came back into office last year. In terms of like the wider Washington foreign policy establishment, I think there's a disconnect between what the administration is doing and what the wider foreign policy establishment wants. And I view, the general consensus, I think, in Washington is that the Ukrainians can still win this thing in some sort of clean, fast way if the United States just continued doing what the Biden administration does, which was essentially pump more weapons into the country and hope and pray that the Russians sort of collapse in on themselves. And I think over the last 4 years, we've seen it with our own two eyes that this is a very bloody war of attrition in which there, as you said in the opening, there are no clear victories for either side. So it leaves you with two options, which is a really bad peace that you have to swallow, whether you like it or not, or a continuation of the conflict that pretty much goes, in an unending disaster for another 4 years.
I loved how you talked about, you wrote that the talks have been laborious and unsatisfying. What are the real obstacles inside Ukraine, Russia, and the United States that how do I put this, that make a negotiated settlement nearly impossible? And which actors have the most to lose if negotiations succeed?
Right. Well, I think that the two big sticking points here are who gets to control the Donbass, which is, of course, the area of eastern Ukraine that the Russians and the Ukrainians are fighting over most fiercely, and security guarantees for Ukraine. In other words, if there's a peace to be negotiated, what can the United States or Europe offer the Ukrainians to give them some confidence that the Russians won't just, come back a year or two later and restart the war? Those are the two issues that have been sort of hanging over the talks over the last 2 years. And the two sides are completely contrary to each other. The Russian President Vladimir Putin is insisting Ukrainians withdraw from the rest of the Donbass as a starting point for negotiations. And that's something that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is unwilling to do because the domestic politics in his country would not support such a unilateral concession. So that's where we are. For the United States, it's very, very difficult to square those two positions. It's like banging a square peg in a round hole, essentially. And I don't know personally what Trump can do to kind of split those two positions into something that both sides can live with. I don't know if it can be done.
Dan, I don't think people saw the strategic point of taking out Maduro in Venezuela as it relates to oil and Russia. Do you think that was part of the play when President Trump went out and to take out Russia and how they get some of their oil as it relates to taking Venezuela out? Because I think about Russia, I think about China, I think about Iran, those three people who was basically taking advantage of Venezuela. Was that part of the strategic moves in taking out Maduro too?
It probably was. I don't know if it was the main driver of why Trump decided to kind of, go into Venezuela and extradite Maduro and stick him into a jail cell in Brooklyn, New York. I don't know if Russia was basically the sole factor here. But I think, regardless, there there is some strategic rationale to doing what he did. The Russians are obviously had a very good partnership with the Venezuelans under Hugo Chavez, and then of course Nicolas Maduro. But this was not a strategic relationship per se. The Russians were basically using the Venezuelans to poke the Americans in the eye. That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't make too big of a deal with that, but I would say it is a setback for the Russians in the Western Hemisphere for sure.
Now, let's talk about Haiti. I actually have some friends that are down there. They've been down there for the last 10 years. And in your essay, you argue that this foreign intervention, it repeatedly fails because you said that outsiders misunderstand these internal incentives of Haiti's political class. What do you believe Haitians elites want more than stability, and how does that misalignment guarantee the collapse of any foreign-led solution?
I don't want to paint too much of a broad brush here because there are Haitian politicians that do care about their people and their country. But I think over the last 30, 35 years, you have a lot of Haitian politicians and economic power brokers who really don't care about anybody but themselves. So in other words, they are essentially interested, for first and foremost, on consolidating their own authority within the Haitian political system. And a lot of that means working with illegal actors like gangs, like drug dealers, irregular armed groups that are outside the Haitian state's control to basically increase their own power base. And I think a lot of these foreign interventions that we've done in Haiti have either refused to recognize that reality or just think that pumping a few thousand foreign troops into the country will magically transform it into some stable democracy, which it has not been the case. And as you mentioned, we've done this, God, I don't know, 3 or 4 times now over the last 30 years, and it's failed repeatedly. So that's what we are.
Dan, you argue also that these humanitarian advocates that they often overlook how intervention can entrench the very dysfunction it aims to fix. What specific humanitarian actions help Haiti without triggering this cycle of deeper dependence or political backlash?
Right. Well, I think you need an international solution here. You can't just assume that sending in 5,000 to 10,000 troops or peacekeepers and defeating the gangs kinetically is going to do anything to force the internal politics in the right direction. So what we really have to do here is work with countries in the region who have a greater stake in Haiti's stability than the United States. And there are countries in the Caribbean and in South America and Central America who have a huge stake in Haiti's stability. We have to work with them to sort of rebuild the institutions that make Haiti a functioning state again. Right now, Haiti is not it's a failed state. I mean, people don't say that, but that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
It's run by criminal actors who are essentially usurping the legal system there. So that's essentially, we need to work through, soft power as opposed to thinking military solutions are just going to magically whitewash everything and fix it, which clearly is not the case.
Dan DePietris, we got about a minute and a half left because I've never been able to truly understand this. The Dominican Republic is right on the other side of the island. How is it that they've been able to maintain and build up infrastructure and take care of their side of the island, whereas Haiti has always been treated as a stepchild?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question, and I don't really have a good answer to it. I think a lot of it is, they have a pretty significant lobby in the United States that is able to attract the attention of U.S. lawmakers. They've done a really good job building a strategic relationship with Washington, whereas Haiti is sort of, treated as this backward country that's sort of immune from any solutions whatsoever. And it's sad. But that's essentially what we do. I mean, we've treated Haiti as like an insignificant country that is best left to its own devices.
Except the Clintons.
Right. Except the Clintons. That's very true. Yes.
Well, Daniel DePietris, We got to leave it right there. He's a fellow at Defense Priorities and a syndicated foreign affairs columnist at the Chicago Tribune and Newsweek. Thanks so much for joining us on Chicago's Morning Answer, sir.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
And you join. Oh, and we'll be right back.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you or someone you love are getting high quotes for dental implants, visit almostfreeteeth.com today. With a medical PPO insurance plan, it's possible to save 90% off on average to be able to smile again. Check if you qualify now at almostfreeteeth.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Carr Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Access One, we don't take chances with your technology, and we put $10,000 behind our assessment to prove it. Our mission is to strengthen your IT security and resilience, backed by over 30 years of experience, serving organizations across the Midwest. And here's the deal. If we can't find even one measurable way to improve your technology or security posture based on NIST or CIS security frameworks, we'll write you a check for $10,000. This free confidential risk assessment is available for businesses with 25 to 500 employees and is designed to validate your IT performance against recognized security regulations. No gimmicks, just a confident promise from a partner who knows technology. Ready to take the challenge? Visit accessoneInc.com/challenge or call 800-654-1555. Certain conditions apply. See details online.
Rick Borick talks about the emotions of stock market investing.
At what point would you rethink your decision that you're invested in the stock market? And you'll notice that someone who answered that question 6 months ago saying, I'm not going to panic until it's down 30%, calls you up on the phone and says, it's down 8, what's going on? And I says, what happened to the 30% guy, right?
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Open mic! Open mic Friday! Call it now!
All right, folks, it's that time.
Friday.
This is when you get the opportunity, Bob. Let's see if you got the courage to call in, Bob. And this is the time when you can, give your perspective, your opinions about things. Justin, you should be in a band. Do you have a band? Have you ever been in a band, Justin? You got a good voice, brother. Open line Friday. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Chris in Rogers Park. Chris, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer. Open line. Open mic Friday.
Hey, John, you're on fire today. You had more passion this morning than I've heard from any possible opponent to Pritzker, and I'm really worried about Dabrowski because he looks like the kind of guy we might need. He's got some economic sense in his head, but he doesn't have that fire. And one thing I'm curious about your take on with him is, could he, why isn't he leaning into his Hispanic heritage? You know, the name Dabrowski, it doesn't resonate, but he's actually, I think, half Hispanic from an immigrant family. And one suggestion for him, or whoever the Republican candidate is going to be, if you're debating Pritzker, you should invite him to, if all these Democrats want to tax the rich, invite him and lead his rich friends to just put more money into the government system. Just take your money and give it to the government. Do it. You don't have to be taxed. You can just give it to them.
Well, thanks for the compliment. I didn't know Ted had Mexican or Hispanic heritage. I did not know that. Thank you. I did not know that. Thanks, Chris. Let's go to Mike from Yorkville. What's up, brother?
Good morning, John. Nice to hear you on this morning again. Just want to go back to the Detroit. You were talking about the Detroit police chief, and how he's going after those two people, and this is what's frustrating the people that follow Trump that we're seeing. It's just we should be seeing people like this police chief being brought in. States that enact or cities that enact sanctuary laws, not only do you lose your funding, but people who sign that into law, do they want to stand by that law or do they want to go to jail for that law?
Wow.
If you're simply not doing that because you are basically going after a federal right, which is to regulate immigration and to control it, where states and cities have no business into it. If they make any law that basically they're taking money federally that is applying to their city, their police force, and everything else, that's a misappropriation of funds and obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
There's many available ways.
Hey, Mike, I'm actually shocked that the Pam Bondi Justice Department didn't bring charges against Walz and Jacob Fry. I'm really
well, John, I've already told you this. She's looking for her spot on Fox News. She's not looking for to put it. She doesn't want that. But if we look back at the Biden administration, we've talked about this before, especially, I've said this to Nan. When the Biden administration started doing all this stuff politically and using the judicial system, you're opening Pandora's box.
That's true.
And once you do that, once we start to administer the law, how it is accordingly, they look at it as now weaponization. And they have their mouthpieces out there doing it. And now you can hear them. When we get back into power, now we've got a continuous cycle of going after people politically, not even judicially. And we have too many liberals in the judicial process right now that will put people like us away, and they don't care because they're going to get the same exact case from a buddy of theirs, and they're going to let them go.
That's true. That's true, Mike. I totally agree, and especially what that Detroit police chief is doing, all because he showed up to interpret something that's just asinine. What's happening in this country?
It's dangerous for the country. People don't understand this. This is a harbinger type of thing. If people don't actually go back to their virtues and morals that they have to need, and we need logic in judicial processes, not, we're doing it by feelings and I don't like you.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the call, brother. Right. Let's go to Joe from Arlington Heights. Hey, Joe, you got to wheel the Bears back to Arlington Heights, my brother.
I have very little clout in this community, John, but on your orders, I will do everything in my power.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, on Monday, Dan had an interview with Soren Aldelko, and her case is at the Texas Supreme Court suing the surgeons that performed a mastectomy on her, and it was so inspiring. Although I didn't have daughters, I wrote a poem about her story and the story of countless others. She inspired me now that she's on the path to recovery.
Hey, Joe,
yeah.
what's the, I forget the show, In Living Color. You wrote a poem about it? Want to hear it? Here, go. Read your poem.
Trans Treachery by Joe from Arlington Heights. Who is this beautiful one, my daughter or my son? Surely I knew you better than all. until on lies you would stumble and fall. Since you couldn't hang with the popular set, you searched to find a place you could fit. Emphatically, I told you the God's honest truth. Seeking peer approval can be the folly of youth. But you assured me, saying everything was fine, while you secretly explored transitioning online. Woke teachers pushed you when most insecure. For adolescents' angst, they promised a magical cure. Soon it was counselors who claimed to feel your pain, assuring you the disapproving were hatefully insane. Next, the threat of suicide was wielded with skill, falsely claiming yourself you would kill. 1 or 2 sessions with a shrink. Quick, start the hormones. She's on the brink. And surgeons eagerly lined up to help, looking to pack full their greedy money belt. Even minors were not out of bounds, while hospitals assured transition was medically sound, willing dupes behind the devil's trans treachery, propelled by the poison of destructive empathy. Gender confusion should be no child's fate. God made each unique with potential great. The mutilation you will forever bear, yet you'll recover to build an honest life to share. While you may never feed a babe from your breast, a loving mother you'll be nonetheless. Whether your own child or adoption's gift, trust the Lord Jesus, your life to uplift.
All right, Joe.
And that's trans treachery.
Thank you, Joe, from Arlington Heights. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Michael from the South Side. What's up, Mike?
John, how are you?
I'm doing well.
As usual. Oh, excellent. Well, as usual, you are doing a great job. I'm really enjoying the show.
Thank you.
There was one aspect of J.B. Pritzker's address that needs a little bit more attention. He said he wants to, seek more laws that would bar Chicago suburbs from prohibiting the building of Section 8 housing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
well, in the suburbs.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen with it?
You know what? Hopefully the plan goes nowhere, but you never know. Can you imagine Section 8 housing in, Wilmette?
Well, I mean, Section 8, we know that it's living in one of those mansions. Yeah, I doubt if they can afford that part, though. Thanks, man. I appreciate the call, Mike.
Sure.
Let's go to Jim from Downers Grove.
Hi, John.
Hey, Jim.
I'd like to tell the listeners of AM 560 that they can watch the debate on Fox 32 next Tuesday at 6 p.m., which will host both Ted Jabowski and Sheriff Jim Mendrick.
Okay.
Darren Bailey and Rick Heidner decided to drop out.
Oh, wait, is this the one where there was a lot of confusion as to why Dabrowski and Mendrick were the only one? So Bailey and Heidner were invited to this?
Yes.
Okay. That's not how it came out on social media. Okay.
No. Oh, well, anyway, I did personally attend 2 debate forums already, and the Sheriff Jim Mendrick has been hitting it out of the park, electrifying the crowds, and it gets a lot of applause. So this will be a good opportunity for Ted to do better.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Let's go to Bob from Waukegan. Hey, Bob. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thank you, John. I did enjoy your show this morning.
Thank you.
And I got up with a rant because of Mondami and Spanberger, creating more taxes for the people. So if affordability is the midterm election slogan for Democrats, how come as soon as Democrats are elected, they tax the already strapped middle class with user fees? i.e. Mondami in New York, and Virginia's Abigail Spanberger, which I heard yesterday somebody called her Scamburger, which I thought was great.
Because Bob, I'm going to tell you, because the middle class is always the target. I don't care what they say.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've been there for my entire life. So she ran as a middler, and presto, once she's elected, she's an extremist left Democrat. The Democrat slogan should be, "We will make your life more affordable. We will tax breathing and moving." We're going to call it the Fitbit tax, or oops, that's they call it a user. They call it a user fee. Ignorance and a disinformed and misinformed, indoctrinated public school system are the propaganda enhancers of the lying left. Every Democrat has Abigail Spanberger's DNA.
Yeah.
Here's a tax we can all get on board with. Every time a Democrat politician, educator, actor, or media newscaster lies, they have to pay a $10 tax. The national debt would be eliminated within a year. We need to change Democrat to Democrap, or change the symbol of the donkey to a rat with a donkey tattoo on its rump. Everything Democrats touch turn into a deadly virus. The Biden plague, or illegal immigration, is example number one. Open the border to criminals and reprobates, and bitch about the person and the party trying to fix it.
Yeah. I think the donkey's ass is apropos for the Democrats.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
I appreciate the call. Eduardo's always got Eduardo. Don't brag on the temperature. What's going on in Tampa Bay, please?
No, I'm here at a donation center. I'm about to donate blood here in a moment.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but yeah, that's disappointing with the Bears. Hopefully, they're going to get their act together.
I think it's a ploy. I think it's a ploy.
Yeah, but speaking of sports, we can't forget the hockey team, the women's hockey team.
Yeah.
That was a great game. That was like the 1980s. It reminded me of that because they were down 1-0. They pulled the goaltender. They tied it, and then they won it in overtime. It was great.
Yeah. Well,
and now we got the men to go.
Eduardo, I haven't once watched one bit of the Winter Olympics.
Okay, well, when you get a chance, get the tape out, and it is fun.
Okay.
It's fun.
I do like hockey, though. I love hockey, so I may pull that one out. But I love the men's hockey.
I got into it after the 1980. Yeah, that's how I got into hockey, after the 1980 U.S.-Russia game.
Yeah.
So
I was 4 years old at that time.
You're on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll be on with
tomorrow?
Black and Right. Yes.
Okay. All right. Get to a more serious talk tomorrow then. Okay. Have a good one.
Take care, Eduardo. Let's go to where did he go? I don't see him. There he is. John from Underline. Hey, Valon just talked about you, John.
Yeah, you asked me to call. I decided to call in, but I didn't. I should have had a script like the last couple of callers.
How you been, man?
I'm good, man. I'm not reading from a card or anything. Though. I just want to let you know I don't have a long poem to read you.
That's okay.
I want to, but I mean, since I have you on the line, I might as well ask you a basic question, if I can get it all out. I know that election security, big issue right now, the SAFE Act and all that. So, and I know that in 2016 and 2024, you guys instantly believed all the election officials who reached the collective conclusion that Trump won. But in 2016, of course, you didn't. So I just wanted to ask you, not 2016, 2020, excuse me. In 2020, you didn't trust their assessment. So I just wanted to ask you a real simple, straightforward question. In which of the 50 states did anyone with the legitimate authority to assess the security of voting and to certify the result, again, the people you believed in 2016 and 2024, but in 2020, in which state did those officials in any state conclude that the election in their state was stolen by fraud, by people lying about their identity at the polls, or by illegals participating in the system?
Okay.
Which I'm looking for the name of a state.
Georgia, Pennsylvania, Nevada.
None of those states made that conclusion. None of them.
In Arizona, Republicans are backing a bill that would require federal immigration enforcement officers to be present at statewide polling sites in the 2026 election.
I want you to hear
the
this.
legislation says officials would be prohibited from questioning or detaining anyone simply to determine their voting eligibility. Supporters say the proposal is intended to ensure election security in the wake of election integrity concerns. Stephen Richard joins us now. He's a former Maricopa County recorder, also the CEO of Republic Affairs and a fellow at the Cato Institute. Stephen, thanks so much for sharing part of your afternoon with us. What would the impact of this bill in Arizona be? Do you expect it to become law?
I don't expect it to become law. We have a Democratic governor who is our former Secretary of State, and I think she would have nothing to do with this. I think that this is more of a signaling bill, but if it were to become law, I think it would prove a significant disruption. And it doesn't even really make sense because ICE, as I understand it, is about naturalization, about whether or not you're a United States citizen. But you don't have to bring proof of citizenship when you show up to vote. You just have to bring proof of identification. You don't have to bring a passport. You don't have to bring your birth certificate, say. And your successor, the new Maricopa County recorder, conducted a review of more than 60,000 registered voters in Arizona and say they found 137 registered voters who are not U.S. citizens. Of those, 60 individuals have voted in prior elections.
60 people voted in prior elections. One is too many.
Okay, and what was the number she just said? 100 and some.
137 were registered to vote.
First of all, John. Nothing in what you just played in any way establishes that the 2020 presidential election in Arizona was stolen. None of it. And the margin of victory there was what, 17,000 votes?
Mm-hmm.
So again, when did the state of Arizona assess the 2020 election and conclude it was stolen from Trump?
Can I ask you a question? Okay, I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna answer it just like this. Was it ever investigated to determine if there was fraud? No, it has not. When Biden, it was not. No, it was not. It was not. It was litigated in the courts. It was litigated in the courts, and the courts never took up the cases.
John,
that's factual.
Again, okay. First of all, you're admitting that Arizona never concluded the election was stolen, but there was a famous recount. Remember all the pro-Trump
Georgia was recounted. There was a recount in Georgia. Now we're finding 40 boxes missing of election ballots in Georgia. But we were told this was the most safe and secure election that we've ever had.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you just confirmed that Georgia didn't conclude their election was stolen.
Well, we're going to find that out now because there's an investigation going on into the Georgia election. Because it was never done.
John,
it was
you're
never
a true
done.
Believer, my friend.
I am.
You will believe what the billionaires tell you to believe.
Nah, I get paid nothing from billionaires. Man, cut the check. If they cut the check, I'll take it. Thank you, John. If they cut the check, I'll take it. Let's go to Jim from South Elgin.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Good. You know, when you're talking about Haiti and the Dominican Republic, just like with North and South Korea, when you see satellite imaging at nighttime, South Korea's all lit up, Dominican's all lit up, North Korea's all dark, and so is Haiti. And that's because the infrastructure is so bad. If you remember, we had a guy named Frank Lassay one time called in, and he discussed the whole difference between the two countries because he said there's no infrastructure, so people, will take wood and they chop it down to burn it for fuel and things. So all these environmental people talk about things, but their poor countries don't do things that are clean, so to speak, environmentally. And also, Trump was saying yesterday, he said, it's a lot cheaper to have peace than it is to have war. And I think hopefully these countries, as they keep fighting each other, are going to understand that because they're just spinning themselves into oblivion and making their countries poor. A lot cheaper to be peaceful than it is to have war.
That is
Trump
so
was
true.
right on the money when he said that yesterday.
Well, John from Underline doesn't realize it, but Trump was right about everything. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Glenn from Orlando.
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. So I was thinking about buying property in Northwest Indiana, but I came across a Thomas Sowell quote, which is very pertinent.
Yeah.
And it goes like this. The real motives of liberals have nothing to do with the welfare of other people. Instead, they have two related goals: to establish themselves as morally and intellectually superior to the rather distasteful population of common people, and to gather as much power as possible to tell those distasteful common people how they must live their lives, by Thomas Sowell. And he is right on.
He is.
He's right on.
As always, Glenn. As
Yep.
always, Thomas Sowell. I'm telling you, I every time somebody mentions his name, I always say there's so many people who have never experienced the greatness that is called Thomas Sowell. That's the reality.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out if you don't listen to Thomas Sowell.
So true. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Peter from Highland, Indiana.
Yes, sir. By John from Munderline's logic, Al Capone was only guilty of tax evasion because that's the only thing he was convicted of. Saying that these states hadn't adjudicated something and he's wrong, and I mean, factually on what he asserted, who had taken stuff to a court of competent jurisdiction, he was wrong on those details. But that saying that only convicted of that, it's as phony as saying Trump was convicted 34 times because 34 checks were written for the one wraparound violation that was brought out of the time of the statute of limitations specifically for him. Anyway, I just wanted to point out, John, like you understood it implicitly, his logic is flawed.
It is. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate the call. Is this Rebo? Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is.
What's up, Rebeletti?
Good morning, John. How are you?
Doing well.
Well, I wanted to thank you for stopping by yesterday to visit with our friend and raise some money for Congressman Mike Boss, the VA chair in the United States Congress. He's a great man and a great representative for the state of Illinois for veterans across the country. So I appreciate seeing you out in Oak Brook yesterday. And
well, thanks for dragging me out. You can tell the truth.
I did literally drag you out. But, you know, I wanted to tell you, John, last night, I was talking to my son about the Bears moving, and I was explaining to him in 2008, if the listeners can remember, that a governor named Blagojevich put a bunch of taxes on trucking businesses, and all the trucking businesses moved into Hammond. So here we are, 18 years later. If you continue to tax people out, the billionaires or not, they are going to go where their dollar goes further. And now they're going to go just across the border and build billions of dollars worth of assets. And then Northwest Indiana, and hopefully the South Side will benefit, but not the people overall in the state of Illinois. And the Democrats have been clear that they were uninterested in doing anything, and now the governor is so surprised that the Bears are looking to go elsewhere. So he told them no for 3 years, and now they've told him no.
That's so true, Dennis. Thanks, brother. Get back to court.
Thank you. All right.
All right, bye. Let's go to Linda. Is it? Oh, Homer Glenn. Linda, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Val's mom, actually. I was listening to John from Underline, and he kind of made me chuckle because I remember that Joe Walsh is also from Underline, and I wonder if maybe they're buds, and he had him call in because his logic is definitely flawed.
Wait, well, what's the name? Because I was talking about you. What did you say again? Can you repeat that?
Oh, yeah. I was just saying I was observing the fact that Joe Walsh was also from Underline.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not Joe.
From Underline. I wondered if maybe they're buds and, you know, that was a group call.
No, I don't think Joe and John know each other. I don't think so.
You never know.
That's true, Linda. Thanks so much, Linda. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Steve from the Northwest Side.
Hey, John. In reference to this guy from Underline, John, what world does he live in? Are you kidding me? Do you actually expect the governor or the election commission in any given state that we are pretty sure in which voter fraud occurred to admit it? No. They are part of the problem. I mean, take a look around. Get your head out of the sand, man. My God, Pennsylvania, Georgia. The stupidity of that comment to me is just astounding. This guy has no clue as to what's going on, and I think that eventually we're going to find out.
Yep.
Maybe not in our lifetime, but that election was without a doubt stolen. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate the call, Steve. Let's go to Ralph from Rantucket. What's up, Ralph? Rantucket.
Hey, John. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Hey,
brother.
look. The Bears moving to Indiana, it's a ruse, okay? Just like Charlie Brown never got to kick the football because Lucy always picked it up, the Bears are going to pick this up and go right back to Illinois after they extract whatever kind of dollars they can from the suckers in Illinois. The Bears, The Bears don't want to move to Indiana. It's a joke. Yeah. Mayor McDermott in Hammond is smoking too much dope.
Thanks, Ralph. Hey, Ralph, are you still there? I wanted to ask him about did they ever do anything to the airport in Rantoul? Let's go to Bill from the South Side. Bill.
Yeah. I just wanted to encourage listeners to remember Jimmy Lee. He's a dissident in China. He's been put in prison for the last 5 years by the cruel communists. He's a wonderful man. He's going to die in prison unless he's released. And my encouragement to people listening is, if it's made in China, put it back until Jimmy Lee is released.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Tim from Woodstock. Tim, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, John.
Good morning.
Good to hear you.
Thank you.
Hey, just before I get to my point, John, I have to say that my first criteria now for who I root for is you have to be a non-sanctuary city. And I'm now a Green Bay fan. I hate to say that. I grew up I went to the Bears training camp as a kid with my dad when they trained at St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
I got a picture I took on my little Kodak camera of Gale Sayers and Dick Butkus standing together in their rookie year. But, you know, I just have to, you got to give me something to root for, you know. So in a way, I kind of hope they move to Indiana to shake things up. But I just wondered, being an ex-police officer yourself, John, you know, that Larry Snelling, he had pretty much promised us an after-action report.
Yeah.
And, you know, first of all, he seems like a good man, but I kind of lost a little respect for him that he hasn't stood up for himself, because he should stand up and say, look, you know, I'm not going to be a fool. I promised everybody an after-action report, and we've got nothing. And the other thing that really bothered me about that conversation was that Agent 999 or whoever he was, and he said, his very words were, "We protect our own," right?
Yep.
And I thought I'd never hear anything like that in my country. That you got to be kidding. You got fellow law enforcement. They might be a different agency, but you're not going to stand with them. And now we're going to say that, you know, we're going to protect our own. But what do you think's going on with that after action report?
We probably will never see it unless somebody pokes around and requests it. That's what I think, Tim. Really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We'll see if it happens. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Nick from the Northwest Side. Man, the Northwest Side is in the house this morning.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of good people up here.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, you did a great job yesterday and an equally great job today.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, if I can talk. First, I was at Old Orchard Shopping Center a few days ago, and up in Skokie, and I wanted to go to Barnes and Noble, and one guy, the bus driver was nice enough. He had a couple of minutes. He looked up on his phone that the store is remodeling, won't be open until the 25th of this month, to buy your book, Letters to John Boy, by you know. And
go to Amazon and get that.
Yeah, I don't have that ability, you know. When this guy found it up on the phone, I was just amazed how he could do it. But I want to ask people, just remember, I've said this about 2 decades, that regarding my parents are from Ukraine. My mother was Polish from Ukraine. My father was Ukrainian. That I've been saying consistently about Russia, not to condemn the people, but the people get into power. They are predatory. They're evil people for the most part, and they look for any opportunity. It might be a year later, it might be 5 years later, it might be 50 years later. They look for an opportunity to make a move. Their move was on Ukraine, and Ukraine borders 4 NATO countries.
Where did Nick go? Nick? All right, let's go to Margot from Burr Ridge.
Oh, this has been a great show. I just want to say one correction, though. Let's never call that election stolen. It was embezzled, like every election in Illinois. But the whole national election was embezzled in 2020. And it's different. When somebody goes in and they steal something, they take it and they go. An embezzler gets in your business or your life, and they figure out every single way they can possibly cheat you and take your assets. That's how an embezzler works. And that's what the Democrats have done over the years. It's institutionalized in Illinois.
That's a great way to look at it. Thanks, Margot. Appreciate it. Let's go to Rob from Wheaton. Rob.
Hello, John. Good to hear from you. A great show today and yesterday. You know, with the passing of the Reverend Jackson this week, it reminded me of something I've thought about him and J.B. Transfat for the last few years, now that Transfat's running for governor, or running for president, or not running probably, but he can't run. But anyway, I said this about Jackson back in the 80s. He scared me a little bit on the national stage because everybody in Illinois knew he was a buffoon.
Yeah.
But on the national stage, he's very well spoken. He didn't have all the local baggage, and he was much more presentable and plausible a candidate. And I'm afraid the same thing applies to J.B. Transfat. We all know he's a buffoon in Illinois. Even my Democrat friends don't really like him.
We'll see, Rob.
But nationwide, he's much more plausible, and that kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Rob. We shall see. Let's go to Pamela. Pamela from Edwardsville.
Hi, greetings, John Anthony. So many things are happening
Wait, is this,
right now.
Pamela Long?
Pamela Denise Long.
Oh,
yes,
hey,
it is,
how's
sir.
it going?
I'm good. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes.
I'm listening via the app, of course. But there's such a crisis of leadership in Illinois from this fumble, the many fumbles that this mayor has done with Chicago.
Hey, Pamela, I'm going to have you
Yes.
on my show. We got 20 seconds. I want you to give people how they can follow you real quick.
Oh, fantastic. So my name is Pamela Denise Long. I'm running for United States Senate here in Illinois to bring back competence, courage, and a commitment to constitutionality. You can find me on my website, longforsenate2026.com, LONGFOR Senate2026.com, and all social media at Long for Senate 2026.
I'll be reaching out, okay?
I love you. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm sorry. We're going to have to leave some calls on the board. Chuck from Delavan.
Hey, go to Pat's Brewing Q this weekend in Sharon, Wisconsin. They got a bar in the back. You can smoke cigarettes and watch squirrels make love. It's a mating season for squirrels right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Oh, man. Chuck, I love you. Chuck, I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this loud and clear. I love you, brother.
Go ahead.
If there's anything that I can do for my brother, Chuck, from Delavan, you let me know, okay?
Hey, we're in good shape, buddy. You be good.
All right, I love you, Chuck. That's Chuck from Delavan, guys. That guy can dance, folks. I'm telling you, he can dance. I wish I could have pulled up the aliens. President Obama released that aliens do exist, and President Trump was like, he wasn't supposed to release that. That's classified. So President Trump just confirmed that there are aliens amongst us. Guys, I want to thank you, everybody, for allowing me to fill in here. It's been amazing. I thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. You're listening to Chicago Morning Answer and WIND Chicago.
The economy has slowed down, and President Trump blames Democrats. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.